Just has to eject out of that one. Mate, we'll let you go prepare, get in the right headspace for your semi-final, and we look forward to seeing you thread a few more barrels, my friend.
Cheers, mate.
Good
Thank
on
you.
ya.
Thank you so
Yoo-hoo.
much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
That was our semi-finalist there, the local hero, John Mark Takong. We've dubbed him Chocolate Lightning Mark, and he seems pretty happy with that nickname. He is super humble. He is just been high-fived and hugged by pretty much everyone here at Cloud9, and they don't come much cooler than him, I reckon.
No, like he's, there's a lot to like. He's always smiling, and he shakes your hand about 5 times every time he sees you. And on the way out, you get another 5 because he's just like, no thanks, no thanks, no thank you guys, thank you. And it's so good to see with all the hype that's thrown his way. It would be pretty easy to develop some ego, but there's none there, and he's just happy that he's getting through. His next immediate mission is to take down Squires. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? These sort of waves, the kid's riding a 5-1 epoxy.
I almost had to laugh at him. I said, for 5-1, I would need 2 of those things, 1 for each foot. And
and you'd still be sinking, I reckon.
I would be. So I'm a big fella. And, it makes it even more impressive to know he's riding a 5-1 out there. So just the way he can knife into those waves, even on an epoxy, which... well, I guess the waves are super clean here, which probably makes riding an epoxy pretty good. But a 5-1, I just had to laugh a little bit under my breath there.
Well, I'm noticing some bigger sets keep unloading with a bit more frequency now, Justin. And they're not the ideal waves, so the boys are doing a bit of paddling out. They've then got to paddle in. There's quite a bit of wash on the screen, as you can see right now. So they've got to wait for things to settle. So the ocean is throwing a few wobblies at the boys. They've got to pick amongst it and make sure they're on the best waves, because I don't think the biggest bombs are necessarily that good. But they've got to make sure they paddle in far enough to put themselves on the real drainers that count. It's come down to a tube riding exhibition, and that's what it's going to take to win this thing here today. Finals day, Cloud9.
Yeah, well, as I was having a chat to James from Kudu Surf, did you see that big set that just detonated on the head of your Indonesian buddy?
I was watching it live, and I could see it coming through, and I'm like waving at you guys, going, "You want to see what's coming? We can't see this." And while James was chatting, it was just the whole screen went white.
Yeah.
Because the wave behind was breaking while we were watching the wave in front unload as well. So they were always tipping the swell to pick up today. Some people were saying it might get too big. It's definitely on the march, and the Pacific Ocean just will not lay down.
It has not stopped pumping since we got here, and it's an amazing location.
Whoa! That was the magic board of Tory Meister.
What happened there?
All as I saw was the Black Beauty in the lip, going down hard. He's got another bomb on the head, but Pucho wants a piece of this. No, he doesn't. He's recovered. He's back out there. That board, as he was saying, he's had it 4 years. He rides it in slabs. It's got a hell of a glass job.
Yeah.
And Tory Meister lives to fight out this quarterfinal. There he is looking over his shoulder.
Just making sure he still had priority, I think. So right now with just a 5.5 and a 3.5, certainly not massive scores, leaving our Indonesian surfer in blue with second priority, chasing a 7.5. He's only got a couple of minor scores underneath his belt, a 1.5 and a 1.07. So with just under 11 minutes on the clock, maybe time to hit the reset button for Komang Hermawan. And he is an amazing tube rider, as we all know.
Well, he won the event back in, 5-6 years ago, 2013. And I've seen him surf enough times to know you can never count him out. He's a vicious competitor. And he'll be here to do his best. It's a lot of rupiah. It's a long way to come.
Yeah.
I don't know whether his sponsors paid for him or how much he had to chip in himself, but I'm sure the further he gets, the happier he is, because money means a lot to these people. I don't think he's chasing points necessarily as his first option. Wants to win this thing, and here he goes, his chance to get back into this quarterfinal. There is the tube. He's well parked. He needs to give it a pump, and he does. And more importantly, squares it out of there, out of the danger zone, and completes the ride.
Yep, so his best ride of quarterfinal number 3. There's 10 minutes remaining, and Tory Meister, the Hawaiian, with priority, will need to improve on a 3.5 to extend on first place. We'll confirm the score for blue as soon as we can. But a really exciting day starting to unfold in front of our eyes.
Oh,
Talk us through this one,
All
Mark.
right, Tory, a bigger wave. He gets the pump and he runs straight into a foam ball. So not ideal wave choice. His thoughts are obvious. He just wants to get barreled on the biggest waves. But let's have a look at this thing for Putra, because a medium-sized wave, he disappeared from view for quite a while and then got the exit spot on and avoided the guillotine. And in stark contrast, old mate out the back, Tory just runs straight into a big old foam ball and will have almost a no bearing on his total.
Well, the score is in a 5.33 for blue. A 5.33 brings the requirement down to now a 3.68 or better. So I'm sure that Tory Meister will be feeling a little bit nervous with 9 minutes on the clock. He definitely wants to improve his scores that he's holding currently, because the Indonesian, he is well and truly back in the mix with a 3.68, the requirement.
Yep. 100% correct, mate. It's sub 10 minutes and he regains priority. So I guess out of that dud wave choice, it's worked well on the priority stakes. Here he goes now. This is a bigger, better looking wave, and once again gets clipped. And down he goes for a second time successive wipeouts for Tory Meister.
And look at this wave behind. That thing is just top to bottom, square and heavy. A lot of white water in our screen as we see another set rolling through. So it's starting to get very challenging out there, you know, when some of the world's best qualifying series surfers are here and they're struggling to, drive through some of these deep, deep barrels. That it's definitely tough, and it's definitely testing here at Cloud9. Quarterfinal number 3, 8 minutes remaining.
That's got to take a bit of gas out of the tank too, because back-to-back wipeouts from Tory. They were both big waves. He then copped another one on the head. He's a wine surfer, we know. But regardless, it's boiling hot here. Beat downs, take it out of you. He's ridden about 4 waves in this heat. 2 of them are his scoreline. And he's had a substantial amount of time underwater in his recent efforts. So he'll be blowing, he'll be puffing, and he's probably sweating.
Yeah, the water's definitely like a bath here in the Philippines. You paddle back out after a heart-racing effort, and you definitely want to, call for the drinks caddy to bring some water out. But with 7.5 minutes on the clock, Komang Hermawan is going to get first priority. There it is, the P in the blue box. And we haven't actually seen Tory Meister resurface after that wipeout. That was
Doesn't surprise me.
A big set wave. I'm sure he's fine. He's a Hawaiian surfer, so he's no stranger to powerful reef breaks. But where is he?
Not sure, mate. He must have got pushed a long, long way in. We're pretty confident his board can withstand just about anything. 4 years old. He's 6'1", black beauty. We're trying to find him now. The camera's there. He is. He's back. Yeah, no problem. No fuss, boys. Here I am. So just resetting himself and hoping to upgrade his total in the next 6.5 minutes, because the door is well open for Putra Hermawan to strike. Here he goes, and he is deep on the peak. This is looking like a decent opportunity for Putra now. He parks himself. Will need to disappear. This thing outraces him. I don't think he's anywhere near the exit there. And a little moment now, the momentum swings back to Tory Meister, because he'll gain the all-important priority. I'm sure his main concerns is trying to get rid of a 3.5. I don't think he's got defence in his back of his mind at all, Tory.
No.
He's a tube monger. He won't want to come in with a 3.5 in the total. And a sort of a low-scoring quarterfinal here. Nobody really able to bust up into the good or excellent range. They've both got a similar scorer, and they've both got pretty low backups.
Well, mate, I can see that you're sporting a pair of Kudu surfboard shorts there.
Yeah, I bought them last year, and I've worn them, as you know, every day in summer, down at work and at our events. Yeah, I like what they're doing. And Kudu Surf, James and Marja, thanks for speaking with us today. It's got them on the blower to let us know a little bit more about what they're about. And let's have a look what Tory Meister is about. Drops straight into another bomb. This is a better-looking wave. He's on a foam ball, and he's over that thing. And boom, there goes his 3.50. That was a big fly-out kind of salute to a really, really well-ridden wave. The biggest score of this quarterfinal matchup will be thrown down. This is going to make life pretty tough for Putra, because I'm expecting kind of a blockbuster score here, mate.
Yep, I can't wait to see the replay. He was sort of waiting a long time for it, but you can see completely disappears, drives through a really deep and throaty section.
Oh, judges will love that.
Yep.
Absolutely love it.
That's what they are here to see, and a 7.33 locks in, and making the requirement now that little bit tougher for the Indonesian surfer in the blue, chasing a 7.50 to move up the leaderboard. So, wow, Tory Meister's got to be pretty happy with 4.5 minutes on the clock that wave came his way, Mark.
Yeah, well, you know, his intentions have been pretty obvious the whole heat and the whole 5 days, because he's got a really good read on this. He's not scared to get behind the peak. His little board seems to just knife in really well. He knows exactly when to pump, and he has been making more tubes than he's been not making. So it was about time. He's been swinging hard to get that score, and he's had a couple of big wipeouts back to back. So 7.33, well done. That's what he's been trying to do for a number of minutes. And Putra now is going to have to answer back with the wave of the heat in the next 4 minutes. There we go. Look at it again. I'm loving it. You can see over that foam ball. The judges love that stuff. Not only do you disappear completely from view, but they can see when you ride over foam balls, because they've got the replay benefit, and a very handy score to go along that ride.
Yes, well done. I'm sure, I'm not too sure what the time difference between here and Hawaii is. I'll let you know.
It'll be early mid-afternoon, maybe.
It's 4:30 Honolulu time, so probably just perfect time for coconut cracking, and tuning in to see one of their local chargers, Tory Meister, doing a great effort here in quarterfinal number 3. He's got the lead on the strength of a 7.33 and a 5.50. It is super steamy. I'm glad we've got that little bit of cloud cover that's keeping the blistering sun away, but it's hot, as is the surfing action out in front. We might have to get one of the ladies to come and replace our little fan here. So under 3 minutes. Priority is with the Hawaiian surfer in the red, and with 2.5 minutes on the clock. It is really exciting stuff. It gives me great pleasure to sit alongside my good mate Mark Clift and call through finals day action here at Cloud 9.
Certainly is, mate. I'm having a ball. You know, this is day 6 for us. We've had 67 heats total for this event. Finals day, we've only got 7 of them to roll out. Putra now trying to stay in the back end of this draw. Look at this thing just drain out here. It probably didn't give him as much love as it looked like it was going to from the start. So he'll he's already handed priority back to Tory, and nowhere near the 7.50 needed. 2 minutes on the clock. He's going to need something special to happen from here.
Well, Mark,
when he got to the bottom of this wave, Judder, I thought he was in for a hell of a stand-up tube. Look how square that thing went.
Put the brakes on.
It just wasn't the right one.
And here goes the Hawaiian now, standing tall, dragging, straightens out of that one. His low score's a 5.50, so the judges will no doubt have a look at that and compare, contrast and analyse what has gone on this very exciting finals day.
But you can see what we talked about before, everybody. He gets behind this thing.
Yeah.
He really, there is no slide. His boards are rock solid. Really gives him a good knife in off the takeoff. So his confidence is absolutely sky high. And he's attacked this quarterfinal brimming with confidence and putting together a pretty good performance at this stage. He is 1 minute away from featuring in semi-final number 2.
Yep, and coming up next, it'll be Skip McCulloch, the American, taking on another really, really popular surfer here from the Philippines, Filmar Alapao.
The sole remaining goofy footer.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
flying the flag for the Goofies.
Yep, it's always good to have one of them there. It's good to have 2 locals in the mix. And Filmar is another big-time personality down here around this part of town. So all the locals sticking around. You guys should as well on the webcast. We're 3 heats into a 7-event day to finish off finals day. We've just got to sort out one more quarterfinal after this. At this stage, Tory Meister's got 1 foot in there. The boys are still having a think about that score. I don't know whether it's locked in yet. It's probably fairly close.
Well, at this stage, Mark
is turning.
Yep.
So let's watch this. A 7.50, an airdrop to straighten out to goodbye.
Yep. Well, he has conceded defeat there. He'll pick up $2,000 US, which in Indonesia, that equates to a fairly handsome payday.
30 million.
Wow.
Yep, that's pretty good. Exchange rates are extremely high this year. So that is the end of quarterfinal number 3. Quarterfinal number 4 coming up right after this break. here we are. Get them headphones on, Jerry Deegan. Stop messing around and let's have a chat, everybody, in
Hello,
the hot
Mark.
seat now.
How are you, buddy?
Jerry?
Good to see you. Good to be back. It's
Yeah,
been
mate.
a frantic little morning without power, without internet. It's been everything except the surf has been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
Well, the surf's just turned on, and that's the main ingredient. So it would be a pity if it was 1 foot and we had every other issue pumping, like the internet and power
I agree.
and weather. So at least, you know, it's what we've come to see. This is a tube fest to the highest degree, and right now, here's one of your boys out there in the blue. Tell us about it.
Yes. Phil Marapayo, great guy, lives about 300 metres from here, goofy footer, and he will show you how to pig dog through this place, that's for sure. He's a friendly character. His brother's a fantastic surfer as well, and he's from a very famous local family. So the Alipayos are well known around town, and these two are the two guys that will, him and his brother, PJ, are the two guys that can really show you how to backhand barrel out here.
All right, so at this stage, one more spot up for grabs. Hopefully we get to have a chat with Tory Meister. I'm not sure. Time might be a bit of an issue. He might want to just perhaps take a break on the tower. Might be a good place to get off the tower. It's pretty hectic out there, and there's a lot of people. There's pretty hard to hold your focus, I guess, out on the tower. Tell us, Jerry, you've been out the tower. What's going on?
It is frantic. And as the event director, I've sort of got to get the police to stop people going certain areas. The top of the tower, it's just packed, and we've had to stop people going up there. There's people lining up along the walkway now because they can't fit in there. They're jumping up and down. The whole thing's shaking. I think you might see on the camera sometimes.
Yeah, we do. We totally do.
It really shakes a lot. It's pretty full on. Plus, we've got a generator out there because there's no power, so it's loud. Here goes Filmar, paddling hard for this one. Let's see what he does.
Take us through it, mate.
Okay, he's going to grab the rail, and he's sitting back nicely, slowing down, and he's out of there. He disappeared, so I can hear the crowd yelling from out the back. So I think that's a pretty good way to start his heat. And he finishes off nicely as well.
That's definitely one of the cues the judges look for. We've been saying it all event. You nose your board disappears. They know you're deep. They want to see how long you can stay that deep. So let's have a look at the replay again. So he drags his butt to park himself into that spot. Comes out, bit of rail work to finish off, and I'm sure that's going to relieve some nerves for Filmar.
Yeah, definitely, and the crowd.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, he disappeared. It wasn't the longest barrel in the world, but he did disappear completely. So a really good way to start. And Skip McCulloch's been ripping the whole time as well. I mean,
a 5, 6, 7 thrown down for your boy.
Okay, I think that's a pretty fair score and a pretty good start. I hope he can build on that, and I'm sure he will.
Yep.
We'll see what Skip's doing. He's having a little look at this one. He's trying to get as deep as he can. No, he's decided there's either too much or not enough water. It's kind of hard to see on the TV, isn't it?
It is. That's all we see, but at least we get the advantage of replays and stuff. We get to talk to the winners.
I've been watching the replays as well because, the judges have a replay up there. So we've been able to sit and check them out, check out what the judges are doing as well. It's actually quite a good learning experience to watch the judges and then look at the replays and see how they chat about things. It's pretty interesting.
It is, and to listen to the cues they talk about, i.e. the nose of the board disappearing, going over foam balls is always one way they've been throwing big scores today. We saw Ty Watson get a score earlier. I think it was a 7-7-3 or something like that on a wave that was pretty hard to ride. It was bumpy. He got a lot of board cavitating on the way in, and I think it came down to the degree of difficulty for Ty's good score. So what were they talking about when that score went down, Jerry?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I've been running around directing traffic as much as anything. But what I do find really interesting up there is their memory, like the head judge's memory. He'll say, some wave will come through and he'll say, do you remember the third wave of blue 3 heats ago? That was very similar to, and I'm thinking, I can't remember the wave of blues in this heat, the last one. He's got an amazing memory. So, yeah, it's really interesting to watch the way they go. And the head judge in particular seems to be, really the traffic director up there of the judges. And
he respects everyone's opinion, of course, and they chat about things. They don't get told to change scores, but they just debate it in a very professional manner. A big old stand-up barrel is going down here for Skip McCulloch. He's hoping for the bonus second section. That second section is coming to life today, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, what's happening is the swell's gone a bit north, which isn't always good, but it's not that north, and so it's giving us that bonus section. So, in reality, you could get 8-second barrel here today if it's pitting from the back all the way through to this section here. And so we may or may not see one, but that was nice. I mean, he got it shacked at the front, at the back, and shacked out the front.
On a big wave, Skip is going to go into first place without a doubt. Well, that just looked great.
It did. And I noticed before some of the sets were actually too big.
I know.
This is what happens. And thankfully the tide's coming up and not going out. But yeah, they crumble out the back. Did you see that macking set before that everyone got caught inside?
The whole screen just went white, mate. We could see the second wave breaking before the wave in front broke.
Yeah. I haven't seen that for a while. That's a pretty solid swell pushing through there.
Yeah.
And again, that's meant to go north and a bit onshore-ish tomorrow. So I think we've picked the eyes out of these two swells that we've seen, and I think we've got it pretty lucky.
717 for Skip. So well and truly pushes into the good range.
I don't think Philmar's going to be panicking as yet. He's got a long time, 24 minutes to go.
What about his comeback yesterday? He was in third or somewhere, and he went to first by .01. He squeaked out this backhand barrel somehow.
No, he needed a .083 or something. Wasn't that?
It wasn't much, or 1.8 or something. He needed not much, and he was in third, and he got himself into a tube that looked like there was no exit. And it got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and somehow he just found this little doggy door, piped out, went to the lead, and got to the lead by .01 to put him into this quarterfinal.
Yeah, actually, that's right. I was thinking of the one before that, and I'll tell you that my memory isn't that bad.
All right, so there he goes, parking, great style, perfect backhand tube riding style. He's got a bonus second section, and he needs to find that doggy door.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh, he needed to do what he did yesterday, mate, to make that count. There's a big difference between a 2 and a 9.
Absolutely.
He had a big number on the way, so loving his style. This is backhand tube riding technique, just perfect. Watch this.
Slows himself down nicely there. And then sees the section, speeds up. He starts, that's where it all fell apart. He started to bounce around in there.
How the hell did he even make that bounce? It looks like most of his board was disconnected from the wave face. Anyway, Skip's gone.
A late takeoff. This one, no, he's not going to go for that one. The other one that Philmar did yesterday, he needed a 0.83. This must have been on the previous heat. Needed a 0.83, took off, pulled into a closeout, and got a 1.2 to make it through. So he's done it twice this event, and it's he deserves to be up there. But what he's doing, he's getting a big score and then not so good.
Anyway, Skip's on the hunt. He's got a 717 best wave of this matchup. He's now got his backup wave here, trying to slow down as much as he can. We can still see you, Skip. We can still see you.
What's he going to do?
He's got a good air game. He can do a bit of everything. He's well rounded, so he'll get some credit for that first little tube, which wasn't super deep, all that sort of stuff. I don't think the judges will throw too much at this, but there it is. He tried everything in the book to get barreled. Momentarily got what we'll call barreled out here at this dynamic break. Anywhere else on a beach break, you'd be going in straight in to watch the footage, claiming a hell tube.
I would be.
Out here, though, a 383, which is about where it sits. So you've got to get well barreled on these bigger, sort of not the biggest waves, but big stand-up tall barrels.
That's right. These bigger waves, you're just not going to get barreled. They're crumbling at the top. And if anyone knows which ones to take off, it'll be Philmar.
So is this about almost max size for Cloud9?
It's max size, yeah. I mean, it's always relative a little bit to the direction. If it was a little straighter, it might be able to... If it was a little straighter, it'd be handling the size now, but it really doesn't handle much bigger. It's not a wave that gets to 10 foot or even 8 foot in the old scale.
Here is Skip's 383 again, everybody. So you could see if you do this on your local beachy, you'd be pretty pumped. Here at the amazing Cloud9, it's not even a
average score.
Not even average. It's less than 4 points. So, the judges are being brutal for obvious reasons. Nobody's busted in too well. I've seen one 8-point ride today, mate. It went to Leandro, who lost the heat, first quarterfinal of the day. Apart from that, there's been a high 7, some mid to low 7s as about the benchmark. So as yet, nobody's really just gone whammo and pushed it.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
the waves
it'll
are there.
happen.
The waves are there.
I think yesterday was probably a little more perfect in the direction, although it did drop off. Today, it's a little more, I suppose it's just a little more difficult. It's bigger. You can't take those big solid sets, and it's got a little more north in it because this is the new swell. This is the swell from that second typhoon that we were actually expecting yesterday morning and didn't push through.
All right. So 20 minutes on the clock. Is Tory Meister going to make his way down here for a quick chat? I'm not sure. It's probably getting time where they boys just have to really focus. They might just be pushing it a bit too much to get, because we're about 200 metres away from the tower. There's a lot of people that want to chat with them and throw down selfies and all that sort of stuff. So it's not easy for them to get here.
No, and it's not long before he's going to have to get back out there again.
Exactly,
so he needs to find his headspace.
Our first semi-final's coming up next, mate.
Yeah.
In 20 minutes'
Can't
time.
believe we're here. We're at this end already.
And it's a bit of a David and Goliath matchup as well, with Nick Squires, the 35-year-old, taking on the young punk in Maramar, who's about half his weight. And a real contrast in physiques and stature and all that sort of stuff. And Maramar's riding a 5-1 epoxy in these giant conditions. Nicholas Squires has got to be every bit of 80 kilos, probably even more, 85 kilos. So that's our next matchup. How do you see that one going, Jerry?
Oh, well, you know, obviously a tale of two different styles and approaches, but you know, I can't help but think that Maramar has the advantage out here, regardless of his 5-1. I mean, his experience out here, and the less perfect it is out here, the more advantage I think he has.
Okay.
So, and I'm not saying, because we sat in our little tower the other day and watched Nick Squires get about 10 barrels in a row in a free surf, and he was just unbelievable.
Another local, so dropping straight into this thing. He's got the line
Staying
right
high
to get out of that part of the tube. What does the inside offer? Nothing, straight out of there.
I think he realises that wasn't the best barrel, and there wasn't maybe not much more scoring potential there. But yeah, the less perfect it is, the more chance the local boys have. But like I said, I think they call him Squiggy, do they, Squires? The boys were going, Squiggy, Squiggy.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
They were watching him just flabbergasted. He was taking every wave, and he got just so many amazing barrels. So
He would have got 6 good tubes in his quarterfinal this morning, quarterfinal number 1.
just non-stop.
It was.
Now, looking forward to it. Just want to see some deep, deep batters.
We're going to see it.
And if I tell you what, if Philmar makes it through here, the tower will be jumping. 2 Filipinos in the semis with a chance to have 2 in the final.
Yeah, opposite sides of the draw. Good point.
That will be unprecedented.
Well, he needs a 5-3-4 at this stage, so not a huge number. He's still got plenty of time on his side. Skip is a well balanced surfer. He's a very smart competitor. I had the good fortune of travelling the 3 Indonesian events with him recently, last month, and I really like what I see. He's a cool cat. Where is he? He's just off the picture. He's trying to get deep on this peak.
Where's he from?
He did tell me. He's an American, but yeah, I don't know. It's a big place. I know that, but I forgot. Sorry.
I've got another friend here from America named Skip as well. It's a very American name, Skip. Skip and Bud and Chuck.
Hank. So, not a lot of, Skip will be stoked. He's got the best wave of the heat, so he won't have any nerves under the rashie.
No, he's holding priority as well with 17 minutes to go. So let's see what happens here.
So, Jerry Deegan, what's been the biggest issues during this event?
Oh, without question, the internet. You know, they had, I think, someone was digging in a far-off city the other day and dug through the cable, the fibre cable, and so they had to find out where it happened and what happened. What's going on today is
Did the guy lose his job?
No, I think it was a farmer or something digging out the front of his house.
Okay.
And what's happening today is they're saying that they don't have a generator for the tower here, so they can't boost. And what they do is they come here and they boost the signal for us. But I don't know if I'm necessarily believing that one.
It sounds good on paper, but we have had a lot of internet issues, so I know our broadcast today is being recorded and available, later on through the day. So, look, it is what it is, and it's a small island, and stuff like that happens. And in fact, there was a full blackout, I think, this morning as well. Isn't there power? There's all sorts of power issues going on today and everything.
Well, there's a blackout as we speak right now. I mean, and we've got generators going, and our teams have got everything together, and everything's working. So we're doing pretty good now.
Sorry? Oh. I've just been told we are now actually live, Jerry.
Okay, that's great
that?
to hear. Good on your team. I'm very happy about that. You know what happened the other day? I came down here, we weren't live. I walked down, sat in the seat, and we became live. So
well, it's all about you, Jerry. I mean, you're the man. You just seem to be this magnet that wherever you go, good stuff happens. And I'm glad you're sitting here with me now. Because
I know. We've both got our phones out texting the people that need to know.
I know there's a million of my friends that are all watching. And we're just going to quickly drop them a quick one so they know. And a lot of people really want to watch this, mate. The waves have been insane. All my mates are just blown away with the broadcast, thanks to the production team.
Here goes
and
Skip.
Here goes Skip McCulloch. So,
okay, hopefully he's deep enough. Oh, wow. Yeah, that one didn't really pit out very well, I don't think. He just pulled underneath it. I think he knew quite early. He did have priority, so he lost his priority there. So Philmar's sitting out there needing something pretty good. I've got a bunch of messages there from my Philippine friends saying, go Philmar, go Philmar.
So here it is. That's what went wrong. Yeah, right. It didn't throw, it didn't heave, and that's Wave just giving Skip no love. So maybe that was delivered by the Filipino gods, and they're helping out Philmar here because he
Maybe
will
so.
now get priority.
And he's having a look at this one. He's going to
All right.
spin around. Where's he at? Oh,
That's
Skip's going to get a good
big
view of
old
it too.
Wave.
It's a big one. It wasn't too deep. What's he going to do? Is he going to do some turns for us? Bit of a float.
Yep, I've seen him do
Okay.
that a few times.
Yeah.
Seems to be a bit of a signature sign-off for himself.
Yeah, nice little finish. I imagine it's better than point. He probably realised that the barrel wasn't epic and he was hoping to squeeze another point out of that one. Here it goes again. So Skip's just looking at him. No, he didn't really disappear. A little
So it won't
wobble
be,
there.
do you reckon it upgrades his two-wave total? I think he was trying to burn off a 3 or something, or a 2. Let's see, what did he need? He needed to burn off a 3.
I think it will. I do.
Okay.
I mean, I'm no judge, but let's. I don't think it'll increase it by a great deal, but I'm thinking it will. I like the little wobble there. I give him a point for the wobble halfway down the line. There's a bit of an airdrop there on his floater. So yeah, I'm saying he'll improve a little. So I'll probably just be proven wrong right here and right now. Oh, there you go, 3.77.
So it was worth doing, I guess, in the big scheme of things. It didn't track down the 5.34, so at least he's got his line right. He's got his signature floater working pretty well. He now needs to get a little bit deeper in something about the same size again, because it was a good-looking wave. But I think, look, he's a master out here. If he can't get,
Yeah,
deep
he
in
knows.
a tube,
He knows exactly where to be. If anyone does, he does.
So let's watch Skip here. A medium-sized wave. These seem to be the drainers. He's still throwing down. He's dragging both knuckles. You can see he's got a good air game. Watch this. He's going to throw to it. Boom. Now, he didn't ride out. That's the important part. It doesn't matter how close you come. If you don't ride out, it's, get no credit for an air.
No.
But I have seen him and all his tricks, and trust me, he's got a good air game.
Yeah, he just hung on there. I mean, he could have been deeper, obviously, but you can't always just take off deeper here.
So I'm not sure whether he improves his situation either. So at this stage, the theme remains the same. The Filipino playing catch-up. It hasn't been blown apart. Skip's holding on to the best wave of the heat, which has got him in a very precarious lead, and breathing down his neck is Philmar. So it goes up to a 3.47. It now needs Philmar tracking down a 5.88.
Which he can do with his eyes closed half the time.
Geez, had Skip landed that air, he probably would have gone into the good range and would have made life that much tougher for Philmar. 12 minutes. So, Jerry, somebody asked me earlier, what do we do re Prezzo after today?
So the Prezzo will be tomorrow night. We have a fantastic time. It's 7 o'clock at the Boulevard, and it is a load of fun. So what happens is... Oh, hang on. Someone's taking a photo. Hello.
General Luna.
And General Luna. It's a load of fun. The San Miguel company will supply a whole bunch of coconuts for us. And the whole town gets together for it. I estimate usually there's 5,000 to 6,000 people there. It's like going to a music festival. And then after the presentations and everything, they will have a band and people will party on into the night.
And they know how to party, mate. So I'm really looking forward to that, because one thing I love about a small island place like this, when they let their hair down, they really go for it. And,
loose as.
There won't be much happening on Friday apart from some head nursing.
No, and that's my big issue. I mean, you work hard, you barely have time to surf, and then you go and party, and the very first day you can surf, you can't because you're just not well enough.
Well, I'll be at airports suffering and on my way back to Bali on Friday, but I know we're live now, so for all the people online that have just hung around all day and hung in there, thanks for that. A couple of quick shout-outs. I know my mate Mel Caithness down there in Margs. Good on you, Mel. Thumbs up. Cheers. I imagine the boys at Surfing WA are locked on and having a good old look at this. And we are now watching quarterfinal number 4. So right on cue, real business end of this event. We've got back on live track. We've got a close heat going on right here. The local in the blue needs just a 5.88.
10 minutes, plenty of time.
And it's good times, mate. And, it's going to be such a good finish to what has been an epic event. It's all come together. The Pacific Ocean, it's just looked insane every single day.
Oh, look, apart from the technical difficulties, there's nothing you can say about what's happened here. I mean, the surf has just really come to the fore. And, we had some bad predictions, and it didn't happen. It just pumped every single day. And I think the people on the tower made the right decision yesterday to shut it down when they did. And we've shown up this morning with a fresh swell, much bigger. And I mean, I've done a lot of these events here, pretty much all of them, and this is at least as good as the best one.
Wow, okay.
Swell-wise, it's just
Right
been
up
so.
there.
Haven't had a bad day. You know,
Okay.
we've probably had a more perfect day in the surf, but we haven't had a more consistent 1 week of full-on swell.
And we've needed it too, mate. With a round of 128, we've worked every day. We're going to pull this thing off with 1 day to spare in our waiting period. We've kind of done a maximum of 14 heats, a minimum of 10 yesterday. So we've still been putting in 5 to 6 to 7 hour work days, which is normally double my work ethic.
Yes.
But we kind of needed it to pump because a round of 128 is a big draw.
Yeah, and I think what we may do next year is see if we can extend the days a little more. I mean, I'll be voting to have an extra look at this
Jerry,
behind the
take us
peak,
through it.
the other side of the peak. Oh, okay, crumbled there. Still could get round it. No, he's given up there. Bit of a. He knew early, and now he's going to get this next one right on the head, which he's not going to be happy about. So while we're here, you know, we probably don't shout out to our sponsors enough. And to be honest, I didn't bring the piece of paper with me, but
Off the top of your head, come on.
well, obviously the Department of Tourism and the provincial and local governments and WSL. We've got Siargao Wake Park, which has been great. Tom's been a big supporter of the event. We've got Harana Resort, Bravo Resort. We've got Kudo Surf, of course. We can't forget
We
Kudo
had a
Surf.
chat with James and Marge earlier. Yep.
All those things. Reefside. We've got Sports Action Television. And I tell you what, we're not wearing the event. If I was wearing the event shirt, I could get you to turn around and I could read all the sponsors. But Hippie Surf Shop, Shaka, Bingo. The Bingo people have given us one of their little bingo cars to drive around in. Gianni's Place, Kermit's. I know I've forgotten someone. I'm so sorry. Okay. Philippines, the coffee people have been terrific for us. Rayab Masaya, which is a nice place to stay here, run by a lovely half Turkish girl.
Right.
Not Turkish, Moroccan girl, half Moroccan girl. And I know there's one or two more that I'll think of. Alon Resort. I hope I've got them all. I'll probably try to get the piece of paper later and double check that I've got them all. But look, thanks to all you guys. I really appreciate it. It's been very difficult to do without either your help with accommodation or a bit of cash here and there, or lunches. You know, they've all come to...
Every bit helps, doesn't it? It takes a lot to pull these events together. The staff, requirements themselves, there's a lot of us that are all on the work panel.
The rescue team, the police, the fire brigade, I mean, they've all been here every day. And I had a chat with someone that the medical people have said, look, you know, we've used so much medical equipment here. And I said, but we've only had 3 or 4 injured surfers. But what's happened is everyone from town has come down.
Yeah,
so we might try to help them out next year. It's actually a pretty good thing that the people from town come down and get their little infections fixed, or the lady from Sweden that hit the reef on the longboard can come
down here to get their infections fixed.
Well, that's not okay. Their infected toe, you know, they stood on the sea
my
urchin
God.
and their toe got infected. So.
Well, I was having a chat with the good people in the incident centre just here, the medical tent, and they said a lot of the injuries have come from the learn to surf crew out on these low tide reefs.
Philmar. He was hanging out at the top there to slow himself down, and he's
still dragging everything in.
He is. I think he's going to need to finish with something big here.
No. So you don't disappear. Philmar will know that wasn't the ideal wave. He tried everything in the handbook to slow down and get tubed, and it didn't come off. No. So he'll know that this will turn into a nothing sort of score at all. Although his technique's unreal, and you know, if he can only get as deep as that, no one else could have got any deeper.
That's true. Yeah, that wave didn't barrel from the takeoff, crumbled, and for that reason, he was never going to be deep. He probably just rolled the dice, hoping that was going to pit from the takeoff, but it just didn't, unfortunately.
Yep, live on Facebook, everybody. So if you want to check it out that way, or let your friends know if you are watching live on the Facebook site, WSL Facebook site. This morning we weren't live. There were some issues with the internet, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's been some of that going on this week. We can't do much about that. But we are going live now. Check it out because it's the real business end of the... Look at this takeoff from Skip. A little face wipe to clear his vision. He's standing in the throat of this thing. Then he disappears. He gives it a pump. What's he got down the end? He's got an air section. No. Some little rail work. Not too bad.
Nice little inside barrel there. Shame he couldn't slow down a bit more out the back. It was a big wave, and that was a really good takeoff. I think there's some points there for the takeoff as well.
All right.
We just missed that on the replay, but...
No, and this is the sort of wave, mate, it is hard to burn off speed.
Yeah.
It's really hard because it's pushing that hard, it's twirling that hard. You know, there's a lot of energy in this wave. And for the people that are going, how come they're not getting barreled? Well, they're great surfers, and the wave is just a bossy wave that just will push you out, spit you out. If you don't backdoor it, it's hard to really get fully drained.
Yeah, that's true. And if I could have one wish today, and this is a weird-ass wish, I wish it was a foot smaller. It'd be hitting the reef slightly
you've
better.
said some weird-ass things this event, mate. Like, it's better when it's onshore.
It's better when it's onshore, and it's better when it's smaller. Did I really say that?
No, what you said to confirm is the devil wind around here is no wind. So you said it's even better to have a light onshore wind than no wind, because no wind, the ocean gets a little wobbly. The ideal wind is obviously what we have now in offshore, and always will be.
Yeah.
But even a light onshore, you said, smooths it out, and it's better than no wind because you get a touch of the wobbles.
That's exactly
That's
right.
what you said.
And I like all the way you jump on me every time I say something wrong.
Well,
I'm new to this. I'm new to the webcast, buddy.
No, we're good fun, though. We're having good fun with Jerry Deegan here.
Paul Pascoe just walking past. He's a guy that's helping out the medical team and does it every event. So thanks, Paul. Give him a little shout out. He'd love to hear that. Not that he did, but
3 minutes 40 now, mate. 4:6:28 is now needed from Phil Maher. So I think Skip's been steadily chipping away at the total there a little bit. Phil Maher needs to answer back. He has not been blown away out of this quarterfinal. He did an amazing comeback the other day to win his last round to put him into this quarterfinal. He'll be still believing. 3 minutes 20 is a long time out here. You can still get two waves in that time.
This one, he's not going to have. At some stage, he's going to have to think to himself that maybe he doesn't want to wait for a set, because those bigger sets aren't doing it. You're seeing maybe down the line a little bit they're getting pitted, but I don't know. At some stage, he's going to look at one that looks like it's the perfect line, bigger or smaller, and he's going to know that it's going to barrel, and not necessarily wait for that big set.
There's some movement behind this. He's
he's
kicking
paddling
and thrashing, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see Phil Maher pull the trigger and track down a 6.28, the famous goofy footer, the last goofy in the event. Look at the size of that wave.
Yeah,
they are just big rollerball, foam out things. No joy there. In fact, you probably don't want to ride the next wave either after a wave like that goes through. You need the area to settle.
No, nothing worse than those milky barrels. You can't do a bottom turn. You can't hang on to
the turbulence. We can still see all that turbulence there. It's pretty hard to grip and get the right sort of line going on, so the boys will have to let things settle. There's another wave coming. Jerry, look at this thing.
Okay,
your boy gets a wave. I want you to take us through it.
Well, I want him to be deep, number one. No, it's too big again. He's not going to do that one. Okay, so that one just rolled over the top of both of them, and this is the issue. At some stage, I think he's going to obviously he's going to pull the trigger. He's just got to pick the right one, and he's done right so far by not going those. But he needs one that lines up perfectly.
He needs it in 2 minutes.
Happens, yeah. He doesn't have much time, and there'll be a real feel of nervousness now out on the tower there. They'll be biting their nails more than Tom, our computer guy. So it'll be pretty interesting.
Whew. I could imagine everyone on the tower right about now will be sweating and watching and praying, because they're quite religious around here. What is the main religion?
Catholic, yeah, Roman Catholic.
They're out there praying, and they'll be sending their mojo towards Phil Maher.
They certainly will be. Yeah, very Catholic here. They're very religious.
90 seconds. He's got something. Take us through it, Jerry.
Okay, he's paddling hard. He's deep enough, I think. Yes, he is. He's got to get up high. Oh, he's come out of it. He disappeared. He came out of it. The crowd is screaming. I'm no judge, so I think he got out of that pretty quickly. He's paddling back out. I think he feels he probably didn't get it. Skip's going to try to get back out there and get priority. I'm surprised he took off on that in the first place.
Anyway, he will probably be well positioned to regain priority. I'm not sure where Phil Maher is. It's not our job. The young lady by the name of Heather is a very experienced judge. She will be making the calls.
So
Let's have a look.
He went up high and he was able to push out of it. Wasn't in there for long, and he didn't come out very clean, and he got out of there very quickly. So thankfully, that's the judge's job. He does need a 6.28. He's only got 50 seconds now. He certainly will get back out in time to get another one. There's no question about that.
I think he still needs another wave, mate.
I do believe that as well. But he's there. He's got 40 seconds, and there is one behind.
And there is no priority handed down just yet, because I think Skip got washed a fair way in.
Okay, he's going to have to pretty much, if he doesn't take this one, there's got to be one behind. And he's got
30 seconds,
he's
ladies
got to
and
go
gentlemen.
pretty much no matter what he's got to go.
Absolute photo finish here, Jerry Deegan. If he gets another wave, you take us through the call.
Well, if he doesn't go this one, I don't think he's going to get another one.
I reckon that
19 seconds, it's a 12-second interval,
yep,
so
yep,
okay.
12 seconds between those two waves.
All right, so he has no choice. He paddles for this one, or he is done for the day, yeah. All right, there we go. He's got no choice. He's into it. Make it happen. He's done it. He's pulled it off twice already. He can do it again.
4 seconds on the clock, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, he's hanging on. He's hanging on. Oh,
he's tubed.
He did get tubed. It wasn't long. He certainly wasn't putting his arms in the air, so
No.
we'll see what happens there.
No,
I desperately hope he does it, but my feeling is maybe not.
I definitely can't see a 6.28 out of this ride. What I'd really like to do, though, is interview Phil Maher, because he probably has just been eliminated from the event. We haven't got him on the webcast at all. Our first semi-final is in the lineup and ready to go. A 4.53 got thrown down, I think, for his previous ride. So Skip McCulloch becomes our last semi-finalist. We're going to throw to a quick break, and we'll be right back after this with semi-final number 1. Here we are, everybody. Welcome back to the scene of Cloud 9. Is a dead set tube first out here. It is an amazing wave. The Pacific Ocean has delivered 6 days of gold, and we are now looking at semi-final number 1, the Australian Nicholas Squires, up against John Mark Tokong, Chocolate Lightning. We've nicknamed him for obvious reasons. He's surfs like a demon. He's all over it. I don't think anybody surfs any faster than him out here, and everyone likes chocolate. So here he is, the last remaining Filipino in the event, taking on the Australian. We have an Hawaiian in Tory Meister up against an American in Skip McCulloch in the second semi-final. We are still 30-minute heats, and we are now about 2 hours away from crowning a champion here at what's been just an epic WSL 3000 event. Here is the man of the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It is John Mark Tokong. It is Marimar or Chocolate Lightning. No, nothing to write home about on that one. What does he have to do in this heat, Jerry?
Well, he has to do what he's done in every other heat, actually. He's got to get deep and do what he knows he can do. Now, as you notice there, he must have been sitting further out because he took off on the crumble. The other guys weren't sitting out as far as that. They weren't able to take off on those. So maybe these guys, maybe he's been watching it and thinking, well, those big sets are coming in. I'll take the easy drop in, or the safety ramp, we call it out here, if you're sitting out far enough, and pull round it and get barreled rather than knife straight in from the takeoff. So maybe he's changed his strategy a bit, but his strategy's been perfect up till now. And
if it ain't broke, don't change it.
Yeah, exactly.
Only a 2.40, but it's a start, and it's not what he was hoping out of that wave. He's riding a 5.1 epoxy, for God's sake.
I mean, I imagine how many litres. It's probably 19 litres or something.
Probably be lucky if it was that.
All right, and
There
under
he goes
priority,
again.
he's going to go for it. And he knows which waves to go for. Okay, that wasn't real rounder than he knew it was going to go round.
Well,
And
his
it's a
barrel.
little better than the last one. Nice little, not such a nice little turn at the end. But, the thing with him is he's out there having fun anyway. If he loses, he'll come in smiling his head off.
Yep.
And he's not a guy to bang his board around or anything like that. And there you go. He's pretty much disappeared. Smaller wave.
Yep, so just releasing some nerves. It's better to be sitting there doing something rather than nothing. So I'm thinking he's trying to get, and it's worked from every other heat, a quick start. You get the crowd on your side, you get them involved. Your opponents start going, what the hell's going on? It's deafening noise, but here is the big, strong Nicholas Squires. He doesn't like that wave. I think we're going to bring Justin Majax in. Yep, so Juddo, we'll just swap over the headphones. He's just going to come. Maybe you can sit here, Jerry.
No worries, all good. So, 26 minutes, 23 to go. Unfortunately, Phil Maher didn't make it, but he'll be happy. We're going to try to get him down here for an interview as well. We haven't had a chat with him as yet, so hopefully he'll come down and we can have a chat with him. And I'd like to welcome Justin back to our broadcast.
Good morning, Jerry.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, my friend.
Enjoying it?
Oh, it's been a sensational day, and finals day always really exciting, and this one has not disappointed.
No, and the most exciting surfer, or the one that has the most hype about him, is out there at the moment.
Yep.
He's had a couple of waves already, a couple of small scores. Nick has yet to paddle into a wave. did have a look at one, and I think I don't think it hurts Marama to be paddling around under priority, to be honest. You know, he can pick and choose those ones that he thinks is exactly the right way for here, the ones with the right lines on them. There's a bit of a set out the back there now.
Yeah, well, I think you'll see two very contrasting approaches. I think Marama seems that type of guy, full of energy, really wants to keep busy and catch a lot of waves, compared to Nick Squires, a bit more of a wiser, saltier sea dog who definitely wants to utilise priority and get himself on those best waves. So it'll be an interesting semi-final number one, and at this stage it'll be Tory Meister taking on Skip McCulloch in semi-final number two. But, well, the weight of expectation grows a little bit now on John Mark Tokong, because he's the lone Filipino left in the draw. And I think he thrives under a little bit of pressure.
He does. I really don't think it gets to him. I do believe it gets to him when he travels a bit and surfs and he doesn't know the wave as well. But I think he feels so damn comfortable here and happy with the crowd that, you know, he's loving it, and he wants to do it for them as much as he wants to do it for him. And, you know, the first thing he does if he gets knocked out is apologise. I'm sorry to everybody. You know, he's that kind of kid. And here goes Nick. All right, this is one going to open up for him. He's backdoored it. Is he there?
Oh.
No, he's not going to squeeze out of that one. I thought he had a real good chance. He took off late and just couldn't get the speed going, I think.
Yeah, unfortunate there for the New South Welshman. You'll see the replay, did everything right, but he just hit that little bit of maybe turbulent water, a little bit of white water on the face, and maybe just caught an edge and went down there. So Nick Squires locks in a 1.27, hands priority over to Marama, and right now he has a 4.17 and a 2.4 in his scoreline, and those are the two lowest scores I've seen. Don't know that they'll stay there for long. Can't make his way through that one, unfortunately.
No, he was asking a bit much there. It shut down at the end, pinched right at the end. And he does push through. Every now and then he pushes through. And for a little bloke, it's surprising how much he can push through.
Yeah, exactly right. So right now it is Blue leading with a 4.17 and a 2.4.
Just having a look back to see where Nick is, to see if he can get back out and get priority.
Yeah,
Looks like he's going to get this on the head, is he? No, it's a bit of a deceiving camera angle there.
Yeah, he sneaks under it. Crystal clear water here at Cloud9 in the Philippines, and some of the drone footage, I'm not sure if you saw the highlights, Jerry, but amazing stuff. The aerial footage from out of here, you can see every crevice in the reef. The water is crystal clear. It's as hot as a bath, and the action red hot as well here in semi-final number one.
And these sets are just ploughing through. Look, there's another one out the back there.
Goodness gracious me. You can see a lot of life in the ocean today. A lot of sort of maxing sets that have...
yeah, these are too big for the spot, to be honest, and I hope it doesn't continue to get bigger in reality. You know, people are patting us on the back for our call yesterday.
To call it off.
And then we woke up this morning, it was perfect, but I hope it doesn't get too big. Yeah. And it won't be. You know, these guys will have to duck dive a few and get the medium-sized ones if that's the case. And,
yeah.
And Marama's completely comfortable with that, and I'm sure Nick is as well. I mean, these guys are used to it. If I was out there, I'd be paddling wide and staying wide. Actually, I probably wouldn't paddle out. Nothing I hate more than getting caught inside. I'd rather go over the falls on my head than get caught inside, to be honest.
Well, 22 minutes on the clock, and to anyone that's streaming into the action, a big shout out here from Cloud9 in the Philippines. We are into the first of the semi-finals. We'll be crowning a champion in the not too distant future, and the young man out here in the blue, John Mark Tokong, Marama as he's known. As we see more sets, Jerry, it's detonating on the reef here. Look at that thing.
Absolutely.
Wow, that is like an avalanche.
That's a big wave. That is a big wave. So, I mean, it'd be good to... It's a bit hard to tell from this angle on the TV, and we can look over into the ocean there, but those plants have grown up since last year when we could actually see the ocean. But that is really an avalanche. It's just massive amount of white water, and they're just going to have to hang on there and wait for the slightly smaller ones.
Well, to all my friends and family tuning in, g'day guys. Looking forward to calling the action as the day continues, and of course WA will have our opportunity to host two WSL QS events in the not too distant future, with the Mandurah Pro and the Cape Naturalist Pro touching down in just under a couple of weeks' time. We're here for the Cloud9 WSL QS 3000, and here we go, Nicholas Squires. He's found one of those medium-sized ones, has a look, doesn't like what he sees down the line. And Jerry, mate, you've been coming here for over 2 decades. Is this a really good way to wrap up what's been a top-class event?
I just, as we were discussing with Mark before, I can't believe how lucky we have gotten. And we've got, like he mentioned, we have 128 surfers. We need to do a lot of surfing out here, and to have every guy go out there in good conditions has just been amazing, because you know what can happen on the WQS. You know that people can be out there flapping around in 1 foot, and you have to run it no matter what. You know, we've been able to stop every now and then, or we stopped yesterday to choose today, and every surfer is. I doubt any of those 128 surfers hasn't been barreled this week.
No, I think everyone, like you said, even if you were getting knocked out in the early rounds, there was rights, there was lefts, it was tubing, it was hollow, and I saw nothing but smiling faces, even on the people that were unfortunately being eliminated. So, yep, it's all part and parcel of professional surfing here on the qualifying series. But when you've got a wave as high calibre as Cloud9 at your disposal, it's all good times. Here we go, the boys are looking at this thing. Marimar lets it go. Nicholas Squires. Oh,
and look
almost.
behind.
He's going to get cleaned up by this next thing, perhaps. So it's a little bit of cat and mouse. You've got to be far enough out, not to wear the sets, but far enough in that you can get those nice hollow tubing waves, hey?
Yeah, definitely. And since I've walked off the tower, I saw one big set like this earlier, and now this heat has seen a bunch of them. But there'll be waves. There are waves to be had, and if anyone can find them, Marimar can.
Yep, just under 19 minutes remaining in this crucial semi-final matchup. We've got a young and very exciting local talent out there in the blue, up against a bit of a QS stalwart in Nicholas Squires from New South Wales. Here goes Marimar. What's he going to do on this one? This looks like a great wave.
Pull the trigger. Oh,
straight into it. He's there.
Oh, he was there forever. He was there forever. I'm wondering, he looked like he got a little bit of a chandelier from the other competitor there when he paddled into that one. I don't know that it affected his ability to get through, but it may well have slowed him down a fraction. Let's have a look.
Well, you can see it almost created the section that he had to drive through.
Yeah.
And you could see him right there, just the nose of his board on the top of the foam ball.
He was hanging on for grim death there.
That tiny little 5'1" epoxy, I just almost fell off my chair when he told me that was the size of the board he's riding. He's not a big fella, but 5'1", that's almost like a wakeboard for me.
Oh, what are the size of the boards they ride, the tow-in guys? They've got relatively short boards, don't they?
Yeah, well, I'm not a tow guy, I couldn't tell you, but they're a lot smaller than your traditional boards, but a 5'1", that's just crazy. But he's not a big fella, so... Wow, it looks like, yep, he's been washed in. So these sets are continuing to pour through, and it looks like...
Yeah, so we've got Mark in the background saying that he's been washed all the way in. So what he'll do, sometimes, if it's like this, it'll drag you to the right. So you have to come in, then paddle into the shallows, and go back out through the channel.
Yeah, okay. Well,
it's like sometimes you get on the left-hander, you cannot paddle back out. You have to paddle back around the right on a big day on the left-hander because it just drags you away. So maybe that's what's happened to Marimar, but he's a fit little fella, so I don't see any problems with him getting back out in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, well, conserving some energy might be the safer way to go, to come in, find the safety of the channel rather than wearing big, powerful sets on the head and risking some damage to your equipment.
And funnily enough, sometimes on a big day like this, it's the only time we don't get a channel. You know, those sets, I saw a set break before, and it's very rare not to have the channel here, but it just closed out the channel.
Yeah, okay. Well, right now, 16 and a half minutes on the clock. It's finals day here at the World Surf League QS 3000. Earlier heats, we saw some really crazy barrel riding go on, and Nick Squires defeated the Argentinian Liano Yasuna, and to get here, John Mark Tokong defeated Ty Watson from the south coast of New South Wales. So both of these guys have already surfed once this morning, and again, just continually Big waves rolling through here at the
Yeah.
reef at Cloud 9.
Actually, not what we expected. The predictions were saying it would pick up yesterday afternoon, which is what it did, and that it would level off and stay about the same size all day today. But it seems with the push of the tide, maybe, and I do say it's not all that tidal. Here goes Nick again. No, he's not going to go for that one. It's not really tidal, but we're not quite at high tide yet, and so maybe the slight push is causing these sets, but maybe just the predictions were wrong once again, and it's bigger than they said it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, in comparison to this morning's heats, this has been by far the lowest scoring, so there's definitely a little bit of a change in the ocean going on right now. We're approaching the halfway stage of semi-final number 1, and right now it is the local rock star, John Mark Tokong, leading ahead of Nick Squires, but he is a very experienced competitor. Nick Squires in the red. He sits out the back with priority. He needs just a 5.30 to move up into first position. And here we go. He's having a little look here. So red is going to pull the string. He's going to go. He pulls into this, gets a nice first tube, seeing what the inside section's going to offer him. Doesn't like what he sees, so he kicks out. Not too sure if it was the score he required, but it's definitely going to help his two-wave total. Just a 1.27 on the board prior to that. So good effort there from Nicholas Squires. I'm sure a lot of crew from the eastern seaboard are tuning in. He's from Wollongong, so
Not far from where I live in the Shire, Cronulla. Surfed down at Wollongong a lot when I was a kid. We used to just drive down there. Well, in between Wollongong, Gary, Era, all those places. It was fantastic to go down there without the crowds, you know. The Wollongong boys would come up and we would go down and see who got the best waves, you know. We were never all that friendly when we were younger.
A 3.53 locks in for red, so not quite the score he required. He now needs a 3.05 or better. And right now, with priority, Chocolate Lightning, as we've dubbed him, the local favourite. He wants to burn off a 2.40. This is the lowest two-wave total we've seen for him during the event. He's just been dropping excellent scores. And, yep, right now he's going to have to focus for the back end of this heat, find himself on one of those absolute Cloud 9 gems, which we've seen all event long. And
do you see the wave that just went through then? I mean, those sets have dragged the water out, that even that one crumbled, even the smaller one crumbled. So we need to have a little period without the sets, let the water fill back in, and hopefully the swell will hit the reef properly and we'll see some pretty decent barrels.
And Jerry, it's a beautiful place, but it doesn't come without its challenges. You've been running around left, right and centre, just sort of fixing little things and attending to little issues, but it's great to know we're back live online and everything seems to be ticking over perfectly. The 6th day, finals day here at Cloud 9, the WSL QS 3000. Mate, we saw another Filipino local unfortunately bow out in the last heat. Filmar Alapeo had a lot of support out there on the tower. He picks himself up $2,000 and a bunch of really crucial ratings points.
Exactly. He'll be very happy about that. And he uses the rating points. He's one of the guys that... So some of his sponsors, and I believe Kudo is one, and Kermit's, and sorry if I don't know the others, but they will support him to do some of the Indonesian events.
Great.
So the ratings points will help him a lot for the seeding. And he will make the effort to travel, and he's had some success in the past travelling as well. So,
good on him.
You know, they all dream, like everyone does, of being a professional surfer and making it to the top, but you've got to start somewhere, and those points get you into the better events. So, you know, good on him. And we actually have requested him to come in for an interview, but I have a feeling because Maramar's heat's on, there's no way he's not going to watch this one.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe he'll cruise on in a little while.
Well, a really cool stat, and one that I'm sure that you'll love being a goofy footer. He was the most successful goofy footer at this event, made it the furthest in the draw. A 5th place finish for him, so that's pretty cool.
Well, I was going for the goofy footers. You know, we did have a heat yesterday, I think, and there were 4 goofy footers in it.
Yeah, that's right.
They're the ones I like. You can't lose those.
Yep. Indeed. So
I'll say hello to Harry, Steve Hare. I think he's out there watching. I watched him push his little boy into a couple of waves yesterday. And much to Harry's dismay, his little boy is a goofy. So
there you go.
So little Noah is going to be a goofy, one of us, one of the good guys.
Well, the left foot forward brigade is...
Does it make me a natural if I go to WA and surf the other way because we're on opposite coasts? Does it work that way?
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, Jerry.
Well, good, because I don't want to be a natural anyway. Or a regular. They say regular in the States, right?
Yep.
Did you grow up saying regular or natural? Or?
I always said natural footer, I think.
Yeah, I think Australians say natural footer.
Yep.
I don't know why we got goofy. Does anyone know why we're called goofy? Because we are, Mark says in the background. Yeah, I don't know. That's an odd one. I wonder if...
I think a natural footer obviously came up with that term.
Oh, without question. I wonder if someone can answer that question. I mean, we don't get to see the Facebook. I know we're live on Facebook and people do ask questions and answer questions, but maybe someone can come up with an answer for that one. Why are goofies called goofy?
Yep, that's a cool one to throw out to our international audience that are no doubt tuning in from all corners of the planet. This is the pointy end of competition here at the Cloud9 WSL QS 3000.
The boys have seen something, and Mark's quite deep there. And I think Nick is going to, talk him into going on that one.
Here he goes. Oh, maybe just got a... Well, he's done well to get around that section. Parks himself in the tube, travelling.
Oh, that was really, really well done. I just didn't think he was going to get out of that.
Finds the doggy door. We've got a little supporter here who seems very excited to see Marimar make his way through that one. I thought that Nick had maybe sold him on a dud, but
did I.
Did very well to make it around that first section and scoot into what was a pretty deep barrel. I think his 2.4 is long gone, Jerry.
Well and truly gone. And the little fella behind his name's Tijan, and he's a good kid, and he's a good surfer, and he'll be up there with Marimar one day surfing, right? Get a little smile from him and a no, sir.
Well, they're super polite and super friendly. 9 minutes on the clock, 9 minutes remaining, and right now...
There you go. No, that score's certainly not in as yet. Here we go. Exactly what you thought. I thought he'd been sold a dummy, and he hung on to that one, and he knows the wave, And that was a throaty pit. That really, really was. Didn't come out clean, but he came out standing on his board. Got to be happy about that. The judges, I suspect, are looking at that replay just like we were. And I think that was a pretty nice wave.
Yeah, I'm with you. 8.5 minutes. The all-important semi-final number one. I'm sure that the judges will be looking at the replays. And there it is, a 6.17. Okay. So the best wave of this heat thus far. He has moved ahead of Nicholas Squires, who does have priority. He now needs a 6.81, Jerry. And we've certainly seen quality waves out there. Nick Squires, he's a experienced competitor. And he wouldn't be too rattled hearing that he needs a 6.81. 8
minutes remaining. Yeah, I think that's the case. And a 6.81, he's probably had a dozen of them already in the last 2 days. So, it's obviously the conditions seem a little trickier at the moment. When we first started this morning, it just seemed absolutely perfect, but the scores haven't been epic. And I think it's just that it's a kind of a new swell and much more solid. But I have no doubt that Nick can do it. He's holding priority. And... he just has to wait for the right one. He has time.
Yep. So I'm sure if he gets rid of the 1.27, the requirement is obviously going to become a little bit less for him. And you can see now that our leader in the blue is paddling deep. He knows this reef better than anyone. And, well, underneath priority, has a look at that one. A bit of a...
Maybe he's trying to...
sell Nick on one.
Bluff him out now, yeah. Know when to hold him, know when to fold him.
That's it. True words.
Having another little look, going deep and inside. So maybe under priority now he'll try to up his wave count. He's only got to get rid of a 4.17. So there's every chance of that. I mean, had it been any other heat, yeah, he would have had, he was getting 10s almost. All right, he's looking around.
6.5 minutes on the clock, 6.5 minutes. Semi-final one is in the water. We eagerly anticipate the matchup between Tori Meister, the Hawaiian, and Skip McCulloch, the American, in semi-final number 2. And right now it is John Mark Tokong leading. Nicholas Squires does have priority. He's in the red, needs a 6.81 or better. I'm alongside Jerry Deegan, who has been coming to this beautiful, beautiful island. You've probably seen some changes over the years, Jerry, but to see professional surfing really get highlighted here at this great wave must still, I guess, give you goosebumps. And you know,
Oh, I love it. I love it when it turns out like this.
Yeah.
It takes the stress of those other pains away. Everybody's happy, but yeah, I mean, it's our biggest event. We've had one other 3,000, but it's the most competitors, better sponsors, more support from the government. And for this to happen, it feels like a bit of a payback. It feels really good, actually. And last year's event was fantastic, but we didn't get the waves.
Yeah.
So really nice that we've got the best waves for the best surfers.
Yeah, that's always exciting. And, to finish finals day with pumping hollow barrels and plenty of scoring opportunities still left in the ocean is a really, really exciting thing. We are approaching the 5-minute mark here, so maybe a little bit of nervous tension creeping into the mind of Nicholas Squires.
Yeah, you wonder whether he's going to start thinking, should I just get rid of that, 3.53, build houses, as Mark Potter would say.
Yeah.
Because he's running out of time to get the hammer and the wood out, because with 4 minutes and 46 seconds, he's going to push himself into a spot eventually where he can only get one wave. So he's got to decide whether that priority is worthwhile hanging on to, I think.
Well, he's a confident surfer. We saw in his quarterfinal he dropped 2 7-point-plus rides, so he knows he needs only one opportunity to match that. And right now, I think he's backing in his surfing and going, nah, I'm going to hold tight. I'm going to wait for that wave and hopefully extract a good to excellent score out of it.
Yeah, well, hopefully he will. I mean, I know what the crowd up there would like to see, but I want everyone to win in reality.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think everyone's a winner. I think the performances so far, win, lose or draw here in the Philippines, everyone will go home happy knowing that they had a really high-quality wave to strut their stuff on. And I'm sure that even our semi-finalists, as we see John Mark Tokong, he must have got swept in on that last attempt, or is that just a...
Well, the camera angle there is just showing the inside. That's really roughing up there. So
Isn't it?
It's a matter of those big swells pushing through. And when you get the big swell pushed through, obviously the water's got to go back out.
Yeah.
And it tends to ruffle it up a bit. And that's the reason it's not, because we've got a terrific wind here, and the folks the folks watching will be thinking it's not completely and utterly smooth. That's just because there's so much water moving around. Oh, there's Nick.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, he pulled the trigger, didn't he?
Well, he was really deep on the peak, probably too deep for the right. Thought, I'm going to have a look at a left, and got sent to the bottom.
Oh, he didn't get rolled, so he's popped straight out. Wow. I wonder where John Mark is. Can Nick get back out there and get priority, I wonder?
Let's have a look. So the priority judge will be watching this really closely. I think Marimar's a little bit further in. They both have to make it to the takeoff zone before someone is awarded priority. But Nicholas Squires, he is going to make the low lights. We've been calling it the wipeout reel that we saw this morning was epic. I'm sure if we get a break in the action, the production team will bring it up for us again. But Nicholas, despite the wipeout,
yep, he did get priority back.
Yep.
2.5 minutes remaining, so he's given himself another chance. Now, had he got rolled there, it would. There we go. Oh my God!
Wow, just absolutely free fell from the top of a. Are you going to call that a 6-footer?
Absolutely, yeah. I think if Kevin Davidson's watching there, he's the guy that first came here. We used to paddle out. It'd be 6 foot. We'd come in and I'd go, "How big do you reckon?" I'd say, "That was about 4 foot." He'd say, "I reckon a solid 2." Kevin will laugh if he's listening. I think he is. We'd always talk it down. But I'm saying, Kevin, that was a 6-footer.
Easy. But yeah, Nick Squires dusts himself off, gets back out the back. Time now his enemy. But you could see he was waiting for that big wave, that wave that offered good to excellent scoring opportunity. And with less than 2 minutes on the clock, with priority, he just needs another set wave to pop up, or not even a set, probably one of those medium-sized ones.
That's what he wants, a medium-sized one. I mean, if he's got the choice, he can go further out, wait for a set, roll into one, and hope it barrels down the line. So he's got a couple of options, but he certainly hasn't got any time options. That's where he's going to get in trouble.
Well, right now, semi-final number 1 has just a touch over 1 minute remaining. And
Okay, so yeah, 1 minute left. Filmar Alapaya is going to have a chat. I would say just at the start of the next heat.
Yep.
This is nearly gone. I myself will be heading out to the tower, and this has been a pleasure calling this with you guys. It's the first time I've done any real time here, and I love it. You know, it's really enjoyable, and it's less stressful than the tower and dealing with the electricity and all the rest of it.
Well, you're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this beautiful island, and certainly this wave out in front. It's been a pleasure calling this heat with you, and I think in 30 seconds we're going to see that tower erupt once again. So let's have a look here.
Okay.
Surfers, no one really in position for that one. Nick Squires still has priority. Oh, here he goes. Oh, paddles, pulls back. That is a big, thick wave.
I don't know that he's going to get another opportunity there.
Nah, you can hear the hoots and hollers coming.
4 seconds. He's got to go this one. If anything, no, it's all done and dusted. Well, thank you very much, Justin. Been a real fun for me. And thanks for coming to the event. And thanks, Mark, up there that's watching as well. Really appreciate it. And I know you guys are going to have a chat with Wilmar, and I'll sign off.
All right. Well, congratulations. And, yep, you could hear the hoots and hollers because the local rock star, John Mark Tokong, is through to the final. We'll cut to a short break and come back with semi-final number 2 very shortly.
All right, here we are. We are back live at Cloud 9, everybody. This is semi-final number 2. You can see the Hawaiian in red is Tori Meister and the American there, Skip McCulloch, in blue. So Tori tries to get over the edge. But more importantly, I'd like to welcome for the first time at this event into the booth with myself, everybody. This is Filmar Alapaya. I'm going to shake your hand, Filmar, because I really love your style. I love what you brought to this event. We'll stay with the live action and then we'll get some questions going on for you. A close out there for Skip. So you've just come out of the water, mate. The surf is picking up dramatically. It's way bigger than it was this morning. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it is so much bigger today and it's kind of hard, tricky. And the big seas are just breaking very far. So you got to choose the medium one to get that clean bottom.
So why don't you look down the lens and tell everybody your name, how old you are.
Hi. I'm Filmar Alapaya. I'm from here in Siargao. I born and raised here.
How old are you?
26 years old.
26. You married? You got kids or anything like that?
Yeah, I was married, but now we broke up. We have a baby, but we are now separated.
Okay. So the sole remaining goofy footer was in the event, did better than all the other goofy footers, come in and made the quarterfinals. You've just come out of the water. It seems like it's really, really difficult out there right now.
Yeah. You have to pick the medium one to get that better barrel because the big ones are just breaking.
Wow, look at Tori.
Yeah,
wow.
That's the medium one.
Woohoo!
That's
that
better.
Was a really good start. We haven't seen too much of that throughout the event. People throwing down innovative, progressive moves. So Tori Meister gets barreled, throws in a tidy air rev. A great way to start his final. Now, it must be super noisy. Let's just watch this replay. Check this out again, everybody. It's board he's been riding for 4 years. He's 30 years of age. He's had this board a long time. It's his favourite magic sled. He's telling us every time he surfs slabs, that's his go-to board, and it's worked perfectly on that wave. It must be pretty noisy out there. How many locals you reckon are on the tower right now? Hundreds, eh?
Yeah, more than even.
Hundreds.
It's so good to hear them cheering for you and getting a good one.
All right, so that wasn't a very high-scoring heat of yours as well, because the waves didn't seem to really cooperate. It's about the time it started really picking up out there. Let's have a look at the guy that just beat you. This is Skip McCulloch. What do you know about Skip? Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
yeah. Do you reckon that tube was better than Tori's? We'll probably see a replay in a minute. Let's just hold on till we see the replay. But like you said, they're the medium-sized waves.
Yeah,
Both Tori and Skip just chewed off a medium-sized wave. So let's have a look at this. So he waited and got in perfect position for this little drainer. Whose tube would you like better? Did you like better?
I think I like the skip.
You like Skip's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
So the judges, what they do, everybody, is they have a look at it. There's 5 judges on the panel. They have a look. They all write down their own scores. They have the benefit of the replay. Once the scores are confirmed, everybody's happy with them. They lock them in. The highest score is deleted. The lowest score is deleted. Tori banks a 750, and we are waiting on the number of skips. So now, here they go. They want to have a look at it again. So the reason we're seeing it again, obviously the head judge wanted to have another look, see how deep he was, for how long. Skip was feeling it. You could see him at the end of that wave. It's pretty cool. What size would you be calling the surf here at the moment, mate? There's some big sets out there.
yeah, maybe 5, 6, I think.
Yeah, well, I
7,
reckon. I
7.
reckon
Yeah,
I saw
big
some.
ones, yeah.
I saw some bigger.
Making too far.
Towards the end of that last semi-final, there was a couple of sets, I reckon, that were well bigger than 6 foot. They went nowhere. They were top to bottom. Even the way that Nicholas Squires tried to go left on, that thing was top to bottom. It was a nasty wipeout. He must have a good glass job on that board. So anyway, Skip got a 6.33 for the tube. Tori got a 7.5 tube and air reverse.
Yeah, because of the air reverse.
The air rev.
Yeah,
So you're probably right
That is
in
good.
saying that Skip overall got a better barrel,
Yeah.
but he got nothing else after it. So that's how that one panned out. And Marimar is the very first surfer into the finals. It's a big day for him. It's a big day for everyone else involved. How important for the local surfing community was it to have one of you guys in the final? It means a lot to the surfers
Yeah,
here,
it means a
doesn't
lot for us, of course, to represent Philippines and make it to the final here. It's a big chance,
Yeah, because I think, was it last year we did a 3,000 event here? We had waves nothing like this.
No,
I think we had one really nice day, one good day. Was that the first time it's been a 3,000 here at Cloud9?
I think it's the second time.
This is the second
Second
time?
time this
Yeah,
one,
last year was the
Last year
first
was
time.
first
Yeah,
time.
and we didn't get really good waves for that. There was
No,
one
no, it
one
was
smoking
small,
day,
yeah.
and then
Just
it
one
was
day.
1 to 2
Then
foot
it
for a
dropped.
majority of it. So over this week, Jerry seems to think it's up there with the best of the events they've ever run out here because of the consistency of having 6 days in a row. There's been about this size.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
It hasn't been like this good for many years now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But I believe you've had a pretty good run so far. I believe you've had some good
yeah.
swells in the last month or so, yeah?
Yeah.
What is your perfect size? What would you prefer to surf in out here? How big?
4 to 6.
4 to 6 is
Yeah.
with a nice,
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
strong offshore, or just a couple of
Just
knot
a
offshore,
light
a light offshore. All right.
Because
And
if it's strong, it's just it's hard
it's
to
hard to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
hard
can't
enough as
paddle
it is,
hard as
isn't
I
it?
can,
It's hard enough as it is to get in. All right. Now, Jerry was saying this event has had probably the most amount of lefts ridden ever. The first few days, there was a lot of people getting scores going left. Would you agree with what Jerry said about the lefts getting utilised a lot at this event?
If it's smaller, and then the swell is north, the left is working better also.
Tori Meister.
to him, so-
Here he is, folks. He's trying to burn off speed. It's a hard thing to do, so he doesn't actually get tubed. He sat in the pocket and then gets under the lip at the wrong time. So That won't be a very big number for Tory. It's his backup score. He's run over Skip. Boys are having a bit of a laugh. All right. And a lot of water pushes in when those sets come. I saw Marimar actually got washed in right into where the fire department guys, where the water securities had to go all the way around to the channel.
It took you too long because it's strong current. But it's okay because there's a channel. It's easy to go back. You just have to paddle on to the left and then get back up there.
Yeah, okay. Now, tell us, I think a couple of years ago you came to Sumbawa and you won a famous event there at Super Suck. So QS points are pretty important. What have you been up to this year? Have you gone to any other WQS events? Or is this your first one of the year?
Yeah, this is the first one of the year.
All right. So I'll tell you what you've got. Okay, let's have a little look. So points-wise, you got 1,260 points. Dollars-wise, you got 2,000 US dollars. That's a lot of peso.
Yeah.
Hey, you pretty happy with that?
Putting into the bank to save.
Look at the tower at the moment, mate.
Yeah, it's
Chock
crowded.
a block. I reckon 95% of those people are locals.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll all be screaming for John Mark Tokong in the very next heat in the final. Who's going to join him at this stage? It's Tory Meister with a 7.50. His backup's pretty low. Skip's got a good wave with a low backup. So it is well balanced at this stage. There's some giant waves rolling through, and the consistency, it's probably picked up, I think, 2 to 3 foot from this morning. And the consistency's out of sight. Now, there goes our water patrol in the front. That must be pretty hard now. There's a lot of water pushing in there, hey? They're doing a great job. They're holding their tubes. I imagine they probably got shoes or boots on or something to be out there standing on that reef.
I'm not sure if they're wearing those.
There's 4 of them there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm glad I'm not doing that job, I tell you.
Yeah.
All right, so what are your plans for next year? Are you going to come and maybe try and do some more WSL events next year?
Yeah, it depends on my sponsors. You know, if we have sponsors to support us, you know, take us there to the QS event, for sure, it's our dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are your current sponsors?
Harana Resort, it's my main. Kurusurf, I had a lot. Fans Philippines. I don't know. It's hard to.
All right, so you'd be looking for somebody to come on board and to help financially with some dollars to help you get to these events, because it's not cheap travelling around.
Yeah, it is not.
All right.
Yeah.
So anybody out there, this is your man. He's a goofy footer. His name is Filmar Alapaya, 26 years of age, so he's got plenty of time on his side. He wants to do some more WSL events, and if anybody out there would like to have a big old sticker on this boy, on his board, have him in their corner representing their company, please get in touch with the people here, because I'd love to see you at some more events. And we just did 3 big events in
This one.
Indonesia. Let's have a look at Skip. He's got another smallish inside wave. Parks himself in. He's going to be hoping this thing throws right over him. It sort of just gets him a little bit of shampoo. Doesn't really get super deep. A turn here at the end would be pretty handy. And just one little squeaky move right out there wide. So he needed a 3.35. Either way, it's definitely his second best score, so things are going to get pretty close here in semi-final number 2. So what else is going on, Filmar? Do you work on the off-season, or just a full-time surfer?
No, I'm just surfing, you know. If Harana has an like important person, you know, that wants to surf, so I'm teaching them sometimes.
All right.
But then I just surf a lot and living in paradise, you know. Just surfing.
Now, do your parents or you guys, is that CFC food place? Is that yours or is it your parents?
My that's my parents' place, but then my sisters built the restaurant, you know, that called CFC.
Okay, so what is it for the people out there that don't know what we're talking about? What is CFC?
CFC, it's Katang Nan fried chicken.
Yeah, so it's basically
Yeah.
a burger joint. That's
Yeah,
got
there's
that,
some burgers also.
yeah, that makes really good fried chicken,
People
really good
love-
salads.
Yeah, some salad.
Nice cold
People like
beers.
to go there, you know, to try the fried chicken and then the hot sauce that they made, homemade hot sauce,
All right. And
spicy.
how long have you folks owned that?
I don't know, maybe 2 years already, 3 years.
All right. Now, there's a lot of really good Filipino surfers coming through.
Yeah.
Who do you look at and really admire as perhaps your... Who do you like most out of the Filipino surfers? Their style, the way they surf, and all that sort of stuff. Who would be your favourite Filipino surfer?
In junior, it's Eduardo Tata. We call him Tata.
Okay.
Yeah, it's him.
Is he a goofy
he's
footer?
getting no, he's regular. He's
Okay.
getting strong now.
How-
He's improving, but
is he just a young guy?
this
Or?
yeah 17, 18.
Okay.
But he injured his ankle
So
before the PCT. That's why he's just.
So he's really a
in the
surfer to watch
and
out
then
for.
Of course, we have Kai.
Oh, how old's he? He's pretty young,
yeah,
isn't he?
Yeah, pretty young. But
What would he
he's
be? 8, 7, 9? I don't know. What is he? How old?
8, I think.
8.
8.
Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that name and heard that name a lot. So obviously
Ripping already.
he's ripping.
Yeah.
And watch
Getting
this
battered.
space. Could be a few years' time. Kai could be matched up in this event. So at this stage, it's hard to find the good ones. Skip has done it a little better at this point than Tori to go into the lead, a 4.17. So there's not much in it. Tori's got the best wave. He needs only a 3. So it's really, really close, folks. There he is, just under 1 point separating these two at the moment, and we're at about the halfway mark of this semi-final. So I'm talking with Filmar Alapeo. He just dipped out in quarterfinal number 4. The person that beat him is Skip McCulloch in the blue. How much training did you do before this event, mate?
I'm just surfing a lot, eating healthy, of course, and then run, do jogging.
You do a bit of jogging?
I do CrossFit also training in SOS gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And where else have you been in the world? I've met you in Sumbawa. That was your
that
first
was my
trip
first trip.
to Indonesia.
Yeah.
Where else have you been?
Sumatra.
Yeah.
And Roti Island, Taiwan. Last month was in Japan.
All right.
Representing Philippines in the IC game.
Okay. And the Philippines did pretty good, I heard. For the first time they've ever gone
First
to an
time,
event
yeah.
like that, you came 20th out of how many countries?
42.
42. Wow. And who was on the team?
It's me, Marama, Piso, and Nel Sanchez. And the girls is Daisy Valdez, Nelby Blancada, and Mai.
Okay.
Anami Alipayo.
All right.
Yeah, my cousin.
And how different is Japan to here?
It's colder a little, the water, and beach break. It's different, yeah.
Did you have to put a wetsuit on?
Just the best,
Just a vest?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think the water here the other day when I went surfing, it's got to be some of the warmest water you ever surf in. It's boiling.
Yeah.
Have to be up around 30 degrees, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to put a wetsuit on must be a bit of a shock. Have you ever in your life ever put
I've been in France already.
Did you?
When I met French girl, I got married, and I've
Okay.
been in France.
Did
I've been
you-
there 4 times already. Yeah, I was
a full wetsuit?
full wetsuit and
Did you?
surf like a robot.
I was going to say, they're as good as wetsuits are. They still feel weird when you put them on. Here we go. This is Tori Meister now, the Hawaiian, trying to get around this section. Nothing much goes on there, so he will still be chasing a 3-point ride. 13 and a bit minutes to go. So, where would be your is Cloud 9 your most favourite wave, or do you have another one?
Yeah, Cloud9 and Tuason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Tuason is yours also up there.
Yeah, because it's left.
Yeah, okay. and you guys being goofy footers, love
Yeah,
your
yeah.
left-handers. All right, I like it. All right, so if you could coach Marimar for one moment, he's about to go into a massive final. If you could get in his corner and give him some words, what would you say to Marimar before the final?
Pick the medium one. He
Yep.
knows that.
Yep.
For sure. He knows where to sit and which one is the good one.
So would you
good
just shake his hand and say
yeah,
good luck?
yeah,
And
yeah, just good luck. I know.
yeah, all right.
He knows what to do.
Exactly. you guys. Okay, here goes Skip. So this is the guy that took you down. He's got a big old wave there. He pumps into a foam ball and surfs into oblivion.
Oh.
And you saw him just about get bundled out the front of that wave backwards. How heavy is it when you pull into a wave like that and you get squashed?
Oh, it's heavy.
Look where Skip ended up, everybody. All right, he's been washed a long way. That tide's pretty high. Let's watch this again. So he pulls into a big old foam ball. Watch this. His feet pop out backwards. There he is, going backwards at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He's washed a long way in. And that's pretty tiring, yeah.
Yeah.
To deal in an ocean like this, he's got to get back to the channel
So
first,
strong.
back around. Pretty tiring.
Yeah. Strong current. I mean, the white water is just pushing you down.
All right. So at this stage, 11 minutes 45. It's still really close, everybody. We've got to remember there's less than 1 point separating these guys. Tory Meister needs a 3. He's in red. He's out the back by himself. He's probably not going to even see Skip McCulloch for a few more moments. Skip making his way back around after that pretty strong wipeout. It's been a really good 6 days of competition. For you, what's been the best thing that's happened to you in this competition? What's the best thing about this year's competition for you?
Making it to, to make it to quarter. That's the best thing for me already. You know, it's 3,000 points. There's a lot of professional coming here, and then I'm pretty happy to make it this far. So
All right, and let's say one more question before we perhaps let you nick off and go and relax or go and have a chat with Marama or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
Who has been the most impressive non-local surfer for you at this year's event?
Jack Robinson.
Jack Robinson did a great
Yeah, I've
job,
been watching
didn't he?
him.
What about Rayoni Montero? Did you see that
Royne,
crazy heat he had
Royne.
the other day?
Yeah.
What about Joe Van Dyke? Did you see the heat where he beat Marama the other
Crazy,
day?
that was
Can you
crazy.
remember that?
You know, they're throwing 8, 9, just back-to-back barrel, and we were just shouting here, cheering.
Okay, so your first name you threw out was Jack Robinson.
Jack Robinson,
Yeah, he was on fire, and unfortunately for him, went down in a pretty tough heat when
just couldn't get a good one.
when Marama and Joe Van Dyke had a pretty crazy heat.
Crazy
so,
hit on that one, yeah.
But apart from that, Jack Robinson, you did win a whole lot of fans here at Cloud9, because I agree, some outstanding heats, although he probably dropped out of the draw a little earlier than he would have liked. He would have loved to have been here on this day. I'm going to say, Filmar, I've love having a chat with you, mate. You're a very
Thank you.
lovely person to talk
Thank
to.
you,
I
man.
really
Thank you.
enjoy
Thank
your
you so
style.
Thank you so much.
Good luck for the Filipino charge into this final. I'm not sure who your boy's going to be surfing against right now, but I really like the way you went about it. And congratulations, first of all,
Thank
for
you.
making the quarterfinals,
Yeah.
being the highest placed goofy footer and the second highest placed Filipino in this event. Filmar,
Thank you so much.
you are a
Thank you so
legend.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll let him go, everybody, and we'll bring Justin Majex back into the hot seat. And good on you, champion. Thank you. All right, that was good fun, having a chat with Filmar Alapeo, giving his thoughts on what goes on. He's a pretty quietly spoken guy, and he's knows everything about this area. He's only 26 years of age, has been married before, has a son, and our highest placed goofy footer exits the draw, and he's pretty happy with his performance. He's pretty stoked with the $2,000 US. His eyes lit up when we spoke about that. So for someone that doesn't work, he's a full-time surfer. $2,000 US, pretty handy.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, what have I missed? It looks like a 7.5 to Tory Meister.
Okay. Now, those two scores, they're two best scores, one each. 6.33 for Skip, tube for tube. Tory threw down an air reverse on the end of his.
Wow.
I sat here with Filmar and I said, whose tube did you like better? And he said Skip's, but Tory had the bonus air reverse out there on the end of it. So he's got the best wave. He's in second, though. He's got priority, got 8 minutes, the Hawaiian, to track down at least a 3. And Skip's picked off a couple little drainers, mate. He just got absolutely annihilated by his last wave. Ended up right in near the Fireys, who were standing halfway in, basically, and just had to do the big paddle of shame back around to the channel and back out the back.
Well, you can see Filmar just getting some photos there. They're really supportive of the Filipino surfers here at Cloud9, and many adoring fans that want to get a selfie with them. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Right now, just under 8 minutes on the clock. A big shout out to everyone that's tuning in and watching finals day here at Cloud9. This is a WSL QS 3000, and it has been a really exciting finals day thus far. The waves are big, the barrels are chunky, and if you can park yourself inside one, you are looking at a healthy score. How cool is it that John Mark Tokong is in the final, the national champion. The tower is going to be rocking.
Mate, if he wins this thing, it's just going to be raucous scenes down here on the beach. He's just about going to have to get airlifted off out of the water into here, because he will be absolutely mobbed. We had a little look at the tower just before. It's just packed.
Chock-a-block.
Packed to the rafters out there, mate. And more than 95% of those crew are the frothed out locals. and they love their surfing. It'll be national. If he wins, it'll be National John Mark Tokong Day here. Remember this date. What is it? The 3rd of October.
Yep, new public holiday in the Philippines.
That's all right. So we're speculating there's a long way to go to crown a champion, which will happen tomorrow night, mate, in General Luna. So we're going to go and party.
Wow.
Yep, in at GL. You haven't been there yet. So
No, I was asking you, where do they do the presentations?
And that's why I asked Jerry too, because I sort of forgot. And he said, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, you idiot, you've been here, you know, in town." I'm like, "Oh, that's right."
Wowee.
So that's going to be a big affair tomorrow night. And we've got 6 minutes of this one to sort out. I imagine the final will boost up to probably 35-minute final. The surf has increased steadily over the last hour and a half to be just about maxing out here. So the boys, they'd be starting to feel the pinch. They've had a couple of serves each already. They're going to bat up again shortly and do it again in at least a 35-minute final. Paddling, look at their paddling speeds here, ladies and gentlemen. The water is boiling, Juddo. You sweat after a wave.
I'm sweating here just calling the action.
And that's with 2 fans blowing on us.
Yep, it is definitely warm. The tropical surroundings here at Cloud9 are really beautiful, but yeah, it's not like at home where you need about 2 to 3 mil of rubber to stay warm. It's like a bathtub out there.
That's the boys' flat-out sprint at this stage. Like, look at them. It's, you know, they're puffed. You've got to say they've just both been mowed down. The water temperature is got to be up around 30 degrees. You've got a rashy on, which is like having a mill of rubber. Let's have a look at Skip now. Let's see how his aerobic capacity is after that. He's trying to improve on a 417. He ducks, he weaves, he squeaks out of that. Look at him.
Blowing kisses. Thank you.
Skip McCulloch. Hang on, Tori's not done with yet.
Well, this one hasn't tubed and he pulls through the back. So I love that. Skip seems like a bit of a character, isn't he?
Oh, mate, he's, you know, like I said, let's just watch this again because this is just perfect. Look at him. He didn't even have to drag anything. He just picked the right wave. He's more than feeling it. He's thinking that puts him into the final. At this stage, I would tend to agree. We got to can't forget about Tori with the best wave of the heat. So regardless of what this number is, Tori will still be well positioned.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But you can see him just
not that well positioned.
Not right now, unfortunately not. So I'm not sure. We were just looking at the replay of Skips when that went down, but you can just see how much energy and power the Ocean's got. Yep. The Hawaiian, he's used to powerful reef breaks, no doubt, but even this one's knocking him around a little bit.
517 locks in for Skip.
There we go. So
Tori now needs only a 4, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Wow. So a 1-point upgrade on Skip's 2-wave total. Tori now needs a 4. More importantly, who is going to get priority with 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes 40 to go? He just looked at his watch. It's really important now. Whoever gets out there first can control these dying minutes. And, Skip, he's loving it. He was celebrating a 517 because he was just feeling it. Size of the wave might have been what chopped the score down a little bit there. But either way, he will realise he's still got to be on guard here. Tori Meister needs only a 4.
Was that the best claim of the event so far for you?
I've seen some good ones. And every claim this event has been so worthy because the stuff that's been going on out there, and we might even on our break between the semis and the final maybe try and cut to the wipeout reel.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of them, and there's been some good claims along the way. But, you know, the wipeouts are that gnarly that when you make something like that, it just feels so much better because it's a really fine line between joy and oblivion. And when you get it right, the boys have been expressing themselves.
Well, we saw Nick Squires go down in his semi-final in the back end of that. That was a heavy wipeout.
Man, that gave me a headache to watch. Here is Skip again. He's on the hunt, ladies and gentlemen. No, not that time, Skip.
Has to straighten out.
He was chasing. Oh, has he broken a board? What happened there?
Can't see him. He is getting gobbled up by the whitewater monster.
He's broken a board. Ladies and gentlemen, his magic sled. Look at him. Look at his watch. His old man. Where's his caddy? There's no time to get back out there. But if he gets into this final, his magic carpet is broken on a wave he didn't really need. He may have creased it earlier in this semi. I'm not sure, but here's his backup
caddy.
board. All right, so the caddies are keeping it real. They're doing a good job. 2 minutes, it's going to be tough to get back out there.
I reckon the crowd on the tower has just dropped a little bit because there'd be that many kids running down hoping to grab that board, and call it their own.
There's probably about 20 people swimming in that direction right
Yeah,
now.
hoping to get Skip McCulloch's. Well, it looks like a Xanadu. He's asking how long. He's asking what's going on. He's in first position. Here goes Meister. Big old takeoff.
Nothing going on. Tory quick in and out. 90 seconds.
He's pretty much got the lineup to himself. I think Skip knows he's not going to make it out there in 80 seconds.
He might as well conserve some energy because at this stage, I think he's got a final to surf. Here it is again. So, boom. Oh, that broke on the drop. Did you see that?
Wow.
It broke on his way down. Maybe it was creased. Either way, it was a wave he probably didn't really need. He still had 2.5 minutes to go when that happened. He was already in the lead. Let's watch this again. So you watch. Oh, no. Oh, this was not it. No, this is one of his scoring rides.
Yeah, this must be the 617.
That was his first good score. So I think that was
the
his 633. Yeah,
yep.
That was his first wave.
Well, nervous moments here for Tory Meister. I'm sure the Hawaiians back at home are just, well, he's up.
Seconds. Something's gone on. He just surfed off the screen. I'm not sure. He's got to come out of this to make it count. I didn't see what happened out the back, but that'll be the last wave ridden in this semi-final. 25 seconds. Skip's on the inside. He's got his backup board in his hands, and he's just he was freaking out. He didn't know where he was positioned. What did Meister need? And I'm sure now he would have heard all that. He's probably looking at the clock, 10 seconds. Tory Meister is nowhere near the takeoff area.
Wow.
So Skip McCulloch, with 5 seconds to go, I think becomes our second finalist.
There it is, counting out.
Well, it is in fact Skip taking on Marimar in the big grand final.
Wowee.
After 6 long days, it's come down to this, Juddo. I think we're going to throw to a quick break. I'm not sure how long there'll be between now and the final, everybody, but we'll throw to some ads. We'll get back to you, and we might have a look at some wipeout reel in a little while.
Yep.
We are inspired by the sea. Our minds dive into the depths of its blue. Our bodies dance with its waves. The sea gives and gives, but the sea can also take away. Without our ocean, who are we? If we don't protect the ocean, we will be nobody. Come, brother, come, sister. We are called to share a love for the sea, for everything it gives, and we must make it known. We must show the world that we love our island home. Together, we are more than surfers. We are more than villagers and voyagers. We are more than islanders and escapists. We are one family, protecting our one and only future. Kudo surf, living the dream.
Phenomena. We are concerned with that explosion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You can see Tory Meister's opted to stay out in the water and surf a few more bonus waves by himself. The final is coming up soon. I believe there is a 20-minute break.
Yep.
So myself, Mark Clifton, Justin Majex. Look, we've had an insane 6 days, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't sat down and watched all 6 days, well, shame. But we have an amazing highlights reel as well of what's gone on in the last 6 days. So we're going to go through it day at a time. We're going to talk over the top. So we're going to have a look firstly at the highlights reel of day 1. Check this out, everybody. This is the opening ceremony.
How cool was that? It was,
oh my gosh.
It was a marathon opening ceremony, but you know, the Philippines government, the Department of Tourism right behind it, and what a way to kick off the event. There's our mate Jed Madison from West Oz. He had a career best performance here at Cloud9. He'll be going back to the WA Pro Surf Series full of confidence and hoping that Mandra and Yelling Up can throw up some beautiful barrels, because he's really stepped it up here in the Philippines.
I think that was Cullen Robson.
It was.
Broke just about all his boards while he was here. And the lefts, there was a lot of lefts ridden, as Jerry said. The most lefts he's ever seen ridden at a competition in the first couple of days because of the swell direction mainly.
Yeah.
There's the judging panel headed up by Luke Reading, who's heading our way at the moment.
And wow, this guy, the Hawaiians put on a really good effort, and you can see in the early part, Kamana Hakis was in great touch, just free falling into multiple barrels. And how cool is that?
That was all in one heat, I remember that.
Yep.
So he won that heat. We got to have a chat with him, so that was pretty cool. There was a bunch of locals as well that were in the event early on in the piece, so you'll see a lot of those guys out there strutting their stuff in the early parts of these highlights. There's the boardwalk, the famous boardwalk. There's the famous tower, which has been just, you know, maxed out today.
There's us.
That was us. There's Jack Robinson. He had a great outing.
But yeah, I just think we're sort of living back the last 6 days of highlights, and what an epic event it's been, Mark. This is my first time here at Cloud9, and the performances and the quality of surfing we've seen, second to none.
Oni Anwar right there. This is still day 1 stuff, I'm pretty sure.
It's,
just perfect conditions. Some of these mornings were that goal. Can't pick up exactly who that was, but there were a lot of highlights. I imagine the hard bit would have been knowing what to leave out.
yeah, the boys, a lot would have hit the
Jack again.
the editing floor, but Jack Robinson, he was unstoppable in the early part of this event. Went down to an eventual finalist in John Mark Tokong, so he might take a little bit of solace out of that. Love Hodel, the elder statesman.
That was the 923. That's
was.
right. Yeah.
And this guy,
Joe Van Dyke,
give
my
him a round of
God.
applause. Joe Van Dyke really impressed me this event, and I'm sure we'll see it on the highlights coming up as we just see Nick Squires walking on by.
Give us the thumbs up.
He did a really good job to make the semi-finals. This is Samson Coulter from New South Wales, and just calling all the names and picking the performances. It's well, it's been a really fun couple of days here. The
Okay,
final
so
is coming up.
I think that was day 1. Was that all the day 1 stuff? So I think we might have a couple more days of highlights. So I reckon let's just roll the next day if we can, guys. No? I'm sure there was more than that. But anyway, it's a tough wave. It's a hard wave to surf. Here comes another day's worth of highlights as well. So let's check this out. This will probably be day 2. Looks like Jack heading out there again early. Somebody weaving a nice barrel. It's hard to tell in this morning light. Geez, it was hard, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was hot and steamy. We've been lucky today. We've had a bit of cloud cover, but you can see a bit of broken board action going on there as well. And this is the young Indonesian surfer who impressed me.
Ketua Douglas. Broke his foot. He broke the bone in his foot, chipped the bone in his foot in that heat, surfed the heat out, won it, and didn't front up again, couldn't surf.
Yeah, unfortunate for him because he was looking in really good form. Some of the aerial footage and some of the photos coming out of this iconic location, second to none. And as we've said all week long, even if you're getting knocked out when you're getting waves like this in a qualifying series event, everyone seemed pretty happy.
Yeah. Yep, and there was a lot of memorable moments. Foot off the board and still made it. This is Marimar's one of his first performances. I think he had a 9.77 in this heat. This might be it.
Yep.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's the 9.77 for sure. And, yep, he is in the final. Nicholas Squires on your screen now. He
Came
made
third.
Yep, equal third.
Jack Robbo right there again, backdooring Bonanza on his backhand again. So Philmar rated him as the best international guy here during this event.
Wow.
And he didn't get out of, I think, round 4 or 5, but either way, the performances he put together leading up to that point were, you know, fan-winning stuff. Now, this guy here, is this Joe? No?
No.
Okay.
So I think this must be day 3 highlights, I'm pretty sure, but you could see the left was really coming into play in the early part of the event, and you can see Tory Meister out there just...
Why wouldn't you? He's the only one smart enough to be around with a board and stay out there and surf a few more waves. So
how is it? Cloud9's pumping and there's only one guy out.
What I think also with some more pumpingness is we've got more highlights from the next day. Here's the next day. So check it out. There's the iconic tower again. It has probably got 300 people out there at the moment. Cloud9 International Surfing Cup.
There's all the Filipino locals who pile out there to see it. Blake Thornton.
Thornton, he went a long way in the draw.
He did. I think he made it up to the round of 16. And this young fella impressed me, Morgan Sibley.
Yep.
And there's a quarterfinalist in Ty Watson from Culburra. So love this angle. You can see how good these waves are. And watch this, Morgan Sibley.
Boom.
Popped it, clean as a whistle.
Probably the air over the event, really, because we didn't see too much of that. It was more of a tube riding event and some power hacks. We've only seen probably a handful of, you know, innovative and progressive moves during the whole heat. Hence, oh, this is cool. You watch this flame.
Look back.
Tim Bissot. That was pretty good. He also makes the low lights rule, which we're going to get a look at in a while. Louis Hind styled his way through a number of heats.
There's our boy Jed Mattinson from Margaret River.
I think he won this heat.
Yep, he did with a couple of 7-point plus rides. This is Callum Robson, who pretty much got this wave. It was a buzzer beater. And
Hey on air.
the defending champion put on a great effort in his first round and unfortunately couldn't match it up, but he was on fire. This was probably one of the heats of the event.
This was his first surf, all right? So this happened on Monday. This was in round 3. He was, I think, heat 12 of round 3. Went out there and just took out 9 days worth of build-up energy. Got here early, and that was a 9.1 from Nick Callister on his backhand, folks. Just about got killed getting into the tube and did a great job to get out. The man of the moment, Marimar. Another week. Geez, look at this footage. It's just epic. Thanks to the broadcasting crew for bringing this. Joe Van Dyke had a blinder of a heat. He had a heat. He said the best heat he's ever served, which was what took Jack Robinson out of the picture. He won this. He beat Marimar. And he had just had one of those heats where he could not do anything wrong.
Yep, the waves are coming to him, and Jack Robinson unfortunately bowed out. Still getting waves like this, and took to the air, big air there, but that end section's pretty tricky. We are awaiting the final. It's going to feature John Mark Tokong and Skip McCulloch.
I think we've still got more, mate, because that was highlights from Monday. So I think we've still got yesterday's highlights. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. So this is unreal. Thanks, boys. So this will be Tuesday's highlights. Yeah, this is yesterday. So let's see what goes on here. Louis Hind, nice drone angle. And this is what happened early yesterday morning. Siblick again, have it on a tear.
Great young little fella. Had a chat with him, and he seemed pretty stoked with his efforts. And Taj Watson from Culburra Beach was a real tube
pig.
Tube pig. I was looking for another word, but wasn't.
Go with that.
Yep, tube pig's fine. And Jed Maddo, look at that. The West Aussie. He said this wave reminds him of a bit of a hybrid between Gas Bay and the Box. Both pretty heavy waves back home. You could see that Jed looked really comfortable here. And here's your finalists who will be coming up soon. Skip McCulloch broke a board and pretty much had to watch the last couple of minutes of that semi-final 2 play out in front of him. Nervous stuff. Unfortunately, Tory Meister just couldn't find the wave required. But look at this stuff. It's non-stop action. Joe Van Dyke again was in real good form. And that was a great tube again from Ty.
You're right, Ty Watson. I was digging for a name right there, so thanks, mate.
So again, John Ma Tokong,
Tokong all over it.
he will have the locals in stitches as soon as we kick this final off. But such a cool dude. He is super humble, super polite, and he is a great surfer out on his 5-1 epoxy. But crystal clear waters here in the Philippines. It's my first time here, and the waves dead set pump. Even other people claiming your waves for you during a competition. You don't usually see that often. And that's Filmar Alapeo, the highest rated goofy footer in the event. So
Jed Madison again, I think. Oh, no, that wasn't Jed. Who's this?
that's Callum Robson, I think.
He was unlucky yesterday afternoon, last heat of the day. Sat in first place for a little while. 2 waves were ridden and went straight back to third. Because this guy got through. I think Poocher got second in that heat. This is the last heat of yesterday. It was a blockbuster surf, a real exciting way to finish a day when the lead chopped and changed so many times. Filmar won it. I'm sure we're going to see Filmar's little Houdiniac squeaking out of the drain. In fact, we're not. That was what happened. We can see Skip's already paddling out, I think, on his backup board. So you can see a lot of good stuff happened.
I think we're going to cut to a break. And
no, not yet. We're going to cut to a lot of good stuff happened and a lot of funkiness happened.
Okay.
And, you know, you got to, if you want to play, you got to pay. So have a look at some of these wipeouts. Check this out, everybody.
Oh, this is the best part of our job, getting to relive this. We were having a
It's
couple
easy
of
to
good-
sit here and laugh, but
I know.
oh my gosh, there was some pain involved in making this clip. I don't think anyone died making this clip, but don't quote me on that.
Well, we did have a couple.
That was Joe Van Dyke. Remember he got belted twice before he got his groove on in one of those heats?
Yep.
Oh, that was just, that's Jack Robertson. That's what put him out of rhythm in the heat he lost in.
Well, it's a challenging wave, and
It's a fine line, isn't it? A lot of
Yep.
these could have been big scores. And a lot of guys just getting absolutely
Oh.
belted. This is what it looks like when you don't get it right at Cloud 9. A real fine line between pleasure and pain out here. And there's a fair bit of pain in this clip. And Bisso sits down.
Goat boats his way out of
We
that
sat
one.
there and had a laugh with him about that. Geez, he enjoyed it. That was a 1.2. That was the most entertaining 1.2 I reckon I've ever seen. All right, so as we can see, our finalists are heading out in the water. Marimar in the red. There's all the locals. They're cheering. Even the Fireys have forgotten what they're supposed to be doing, and they're just getting selfies taken, and they're all out there in their bright orange outfits. I think, is that Oni Anwar there? That's looking like someone like Oni. Might be. I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, Oni's got his spare board. He's just high-fiving Marimar right there. So I think he might either be caddying for him or being smart, sitting in the water, waiting for this thing to finish and go and ride some waves himself. Which brings me to, where is my board? I might do the same.
Well, I think we're going to cut to an ad, and we'll be back very shortly for the final here at the WSL QS 3000 at Cloud 9 in the Philippines.
We are inspired by the sea. Our minds dive into the depths of its blue. Our bodies dance with its waves. The sea gives and gives, but the sea can also take away. Without our ocean, who are we? If we don't protect the ocean, we will be nobody. Come brother, come sister. We are called to share our love for the sea, for everything it gives, and we must make it known. We must show the world that we love our island home. Together, we are more than surfers. We are more than villagers and voyagers. We are more than islanders and escapists. We are one family, protecting our one and only future. Kudu surf, living the dream.
Oh, we are back. Look how many fireys we've got out there. That is our water patrol. They've got about 10 people there, all right, standing on the reef. The two finalists are out there in the lineup. I believe it's going to be a 35-minute final, a Filipino against an American. This has taken almost 6 days to beat at this point. This is event 67, our grand final, Justin Majex. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the local John Mark Tokong from the Philippines. He's a Cloud9 local, take on Skip McCulloch, who you know a little bit more about than I do, Mark. He has sort of been travelling through Indonesia doing a few of the QS 1000 events, and he's been racking up some points through Asia.
He has been, mate. He got a third in NIAS, the first of our 3-event series. He's a great tube rider. He's got an air game. He got a 5th over at Simalu, the second of our 1,000 events on that tour. And I think he didn't feature that well in Sumbawa. But, you know, I got to interview him a bunch of times. He's a real cool guy. He's just a journeyman. He's loves having a chat, loves surfing. I think he has about 4 or 5 surfs every day. He's in and out. He's a frother and a cool kid. So this is a real matchup here. It's a local. There's probably 99% of the people out there on the boardwalk would be hoping that this fella doesn't win. They hope he surfs good, but they really hope their man gets over the top of him in John Mark Tokong.
Well, first blood drawn in the blue column. Skip McCulloch from the United States of America will have the early advantage, but there is plenty of time on the clock, as you can see, 33.5 minutes, and well, I'm super excited to be here. This is my first time to Cloud9. I'm alongside my good mate Mark Clift, and Mark, it's been sensational viewing from our position up here at Kisa Resort as we see the replay. Well, a bit of a chandelier sort of wave there for Skip.
Yep.
It did completely disappear, but the judges will be looking for those really thick, heavy waves.
On his backup board, mate, we saw him break his board on his last wave of his semi-final, so he might have just wanted to quickly ride a wave, reacquaint himself with his backup equipment. He'll know it won't be a big score. 4.67 is still a decent way to start. He'll be hoping that doesn't feature in his top 2 by the end of this final. I think it's going to take a lot more than that to win, because he's up against a rampaging JMT, and his nickname is Marimar. We've called him something else during the event. I'll say it one more time. Chocolate Lightning. But it's a lot to like about that. He wasn't fussed with it. He didn't mind it, mate. He said, that's cool. I said, it's sort of like Mick Fanning, White Lightning. He's gone, okay, yeah. So either way, we love what he can do.
I think it's caught on because we were having a surf yesterday, and even a few of the local Filipino surfers were calling him that. So it's obviously caught on, but we'll stick to his traditional nickname, which is Marimar. But I can tell you that boardwalk and the tower over there at capacity. Is that wind sort of funking up a little bit?
It's been doing funky things for the last hour or more, mate. I think it's gone on shore a couple of times. It's gone offshore a couple of times. It's maintained no stronger than about 5 knots, but it seems to be doing circles out here at the moment. And let's just have a look at this. There's a nice wave. Look at the size of these things, everybody.
Yeah,
this morning was about 3 to 4 foot when I woke up and went out there and walked out to the boardwalk with a coffee and had a good look. And it's ramped right up to every bit of 6 foot, and there have been some sets way bigger than 6 foot unleashing. It's getting a little bit unruly, but there's only 2 guys out there for 35 minutes. We need 4 really good waves to come through, and let's hope they can pick those waves.
Yeah, well, sitting out the back looking for the gems is the local. He's got priority. Skip McCulloch, pretty smart to sort of make an early start, get the wax between the toes on his backup board, as you said, Mark, and a 4.67 sits in the blue column, just on 31 minutes. It's been a super exciting event to everyone that's tuning in from all corners of the planet. Welcome to the final here at Cloud 9. And to anyone tuning in back in West Oz, a big shout out to our mates back there at Surfing Western Australia. And
12:30 lunchtime, mate.
Yep.
High noon in WA.
They'll be tools down. It'll be, sort of maybe time to eat their lunch and watch the big screen as we've been doing for the last 6 days. We saw some highlights, and what a phenomenal location for running professional surfing events. But we get to do it all again in WA in the not-too-distant future.
Yeah, you might as well give it a quick rev up while we're here.
With a bit of a break in the action, the WA Pro Surf Series will kick off in Mandurah in the not-too-distant future from the 13th through to the 16th of October. Men's and women's QS 1000 will have a little travel day down the coast to Yallingup for the Cape Naturalist Pro, and 2,000 all-important ratings points on offer in WA in the coming weeks, so that's going to be super exciting. I'm sure we'll see a few competitors whose names we've called at this event fronting up in WA, and you can just see the size and ferocity of the ocean out there. This is by far the biggest day of surfing action, Mark.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Right at about an hour ago, I reckon it got bigger than anything we've seen. It's the consistency of what's going on out there is creating, lots of bumps and just, not backwash, but sort of side wash and swirliness. And we know there's a lot of boils out there. Marimar is catching his first wave of the final. So let's have a look at this young fella. Has been more barreled than anybody during this event. He's in the hole again. You've got to come out to make it count now. He is riding a 5-1, ladies and gentlemen. You did hear me right, a 5-1 epoxy. It's his go-to board that he's ridden all event. And now it's a little lumpy and bumpy. Does that go towards favouring Skip a little more, you reckon?
Well, it looks like Skip's on your more traditional PU. He has not put a foot wrong, John Mark Tokong, though, on that board. So
it's raining.
What?
We've had a bit of everything this week, ladies and gentlemen, and it is now raining. So,
oh, my goodness, I can't believe it.
I've seen some sprinkle. I haven't seen any of the real wet stuff, but for a lot of people that were standing out there on the boardwalk, they probably won't be doing that any longer. They might have to climb down and stand under the boardwalk to try and get some shelter, because it's not just a sprinkle. It is raining here in the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen. We've had a wave ridden each. Jerry Deegan said the harder it gets out here, the more of an advantage it is for John Mark Tokong. So let's see if that rings true. Here goes Skip.
Well, up and riding on his second wave. Drives hard off the bottom. He's taken the turns now, so that is a good hit off the top. Parks it for the inside section. Travels, disappears, and what can he do here? Well, he's got an air game. I think he was thinking about it.
Well, it's tiring. He's having a sit down. Might have lost his legs there. But
you can probably hear a little bit of the rain coming through our microphones here. And just make sure all our cords are not getting wet. Looks like we're all right, but maybe this is a little bit of an offering from the gods just to say, well done.
Just to say, cop this. No, we've had blackouts, we've had internet issues, now we've had some rain right during the final. Haven't seen any of the wet stuff really. It's probably going to back off pretty quick, and then I reckon the sun's going to come out just to steam things up and make my shirt just cling on to me a little bit more.
Oh, goodness.
It's been a sweaty 6 days, hasn't it, mate?
It has, and we went to sleep with the aircon on last night, woke up with some power issues. I was pretty much stuck to my bed sheets, and it was freaking warm, I tell you that much, but not as hot as the action we've seen out here at Cloud 9. WSL QS 3000, and it feels like that rain's getting a little bit heavier. So people are just frantically running around, grabbing things, pulling them under cover, but I don't think this will
dampen the enthusiasm of the competitors. All the people in the tower, they're going to be screaming and hollering for their charger. He's only opened with a 1 point something. That's been a couple of waves. I can't see any scores up at the moment. There it is. We're just will momentarily be getting Skip's second wave up. It was still a pretty well surfed wave. He got a turn, he got a little barrel. It was all pretty good. So we've had almost 10 minutes chip off the final. Skip's going to put a second wave together. It's going to be the two best waves of this final. It's pretty early. There's Maddie swimming around out there trying to get the clips for the broadcast. Hard work. I'd hate to be swimming around out here in this size surf.
Oh my goodness, he will definitely be looking for the magnesium later, because I reckon he'll be cramping up his little legs. He's not a big guy, but he's got his flippers on, and there is a lot of water moving around. You can see how much these sets are just detonating on the reef here, and at this point in time, advantage is with Skip McCulloch. We're still awaiting his second score to lock in. And this is heavy rain. This is not just a little bit of pitter-patter.
No, it's making a bit of noise out there. What I'm going to tell everyone online is this. To win this final, obviously, it is a WSL 3000, so there is 3,000 points up for grabs. First prize, $12,000 US out of a prize pool of 75,000 US, so some big bucks right there. Second position is half that, $6,000 US, and the points are still pretty valuable, 2,250 WSL World Qualifying Series points, so that's what they are surfing for. They both sound pretty good. I'm sure the points are what everybody really, really wants. But 12 grand US to go alongside it, mate. It's still a pretty handy. How you going? 6 days of surfing. It's 2 grand a day.
Oh, that is a pretty good pay rate, if you ask me. We are just under the 25-minute mark, and this downpour shows no sign of stopping. You can see out there, the boys are miles apart, but you can see how heavy the showers are.
All right. And while they're still trying to make some sense of the ocean, it must be getting pretty hard for them to see out there. But I'll let everybody know that if you didn't see what went on this morning, I think we weren't quite live first thing this morning. So to be in this final, the man in red, John Mark Tokong, Marimar, took down Australian Ty Watson in quarterfinal number 2 this morning.
Yep.
He then featured in semi-final number 1 and took out the last remaining Australian surfer in Nicholas Squires, and then went into the final in the red Rashi. On the other side of the draw, Skip McCulloch surfed in quarterfinal number 4 this morning. He beat Philmar Alapeo, the sole remaining goofy footer, and took out one of the locals right there. He then featured up against Tori Meister in our last heat, which was semi-final number 2, the Hawaiian, and featuring out there in the blue Rashi. Something else also, he broke his board on his last wave in his semi-final, so right now Skip with a 4.67 and a 3.5 is doing that work on his backup board. And look at the rain.
Wow. This is the heaviest rain we've seen over the last week. There was a bit of an overnight downpour, but there's puddles forming next to our commentary position. It's certainly heavy out there, but maybe this rain front will pass through, and maybe the winds will back off. It'll go clean offshore, and we can see all the girls, locals here. They don't want to get wet, but they do want to support their local charger, John Mark Tokong. So 23 and a bit minutes on the clock, and it's been tough work. The first 12 minutes have gone down, and
here he goes. Skip McCulloch is on the hunt. He's got a good-looking wave.
wow.
He's in a big stand-tall barrel.
Wow.
This is the sort of stuff that you could be expecting to win the grand final with today. A solid floater. Another nice tidy hit. Look at him.
He's feeling it.
Woo-hoo.
Just the stand tall, no claim. So
In amongst the wildness of what's going on with the rain, with second priority, with all sorts of stuff going on out there.
big monster sets rolling through.
Skip McCulloch, you legend. That is going to look insane. I can't wait to see it again. Somehow, amongst all that mayhem, Skip McCulloch held his composure. Look at the thing he's chewed off here, ladies and gentlemen. This section here is just well tubed. A big old section. He somehow just fights his way out, throws in a tidy floater, and then a really nice hit off the wash as well. And then look at this. Yeah!
a 7.50 for Blue. So the American, he is... he's got it all going on right now. He has got the local champ against the ropes. He's in a combination situation. There's still plenty of time on the clock, and don't worry about John Mark Tokong. He would have surfed this place. Maybe not quite like this, but he knows the reef really well. But he's got a little bit of work to do, doesn't he, Mark?
He does, mate. I mean, he's got to be thinking he would have heard it. Okay, 12.17. You break that down, it's a 6 and a 6 and a bit.
Yeah.
He's been dropping those scores at random, so he won't be too phased. He's got priority. He's got more than 21 minutes on the clock, so it's almost like we've all surfed 20-minute heats in our life. It's coming down to one of those for him. He's only put together a 1.4 to start with, but he's been dropping. You know, you could see how many times he featured on the highlights reel.
Yep.
But look at this again. This will feature on anyone's highlight reel. He was well tubed. He just brushes off the foam. You could see that. Watch the way he hops up onto the lip there. Floats it, bangs it. A 7.50, a big advantage in some pretty tricky conditions now. Skip McCulloch, a great performance.
Yeah, well, I think this little rain shower has passed, and I feel like the winds have backed off since it's gone through. So with just under 21 minutes on the clock, with priority out the back is John Mark Tokong. Maramar, as he's known here in the Philippines. He doesn't need much of an opportunity to get back into this one, and you can see him hunting around in the lineup. Mark, for you, obviously it's great to be here. The Asian leg of events has obviously put Skip in a really good competitive mindset, and to lead this one against the local hero, he must be feeling pretty good, but the job's certainly not done with...
Well, look, he's travelling with his old man, Monty, who everyone tells me is a dead-set legend, and he said he's the only person that surfs more than Skip is his dad. So they're teamed up. He'll be out there just throwing him his mojo. He's got his nerves settled after breaking his board. It might have been, he could have excused him if he came out a little ruffled, but he's burst out of the blocks. He's already had the 3 best waves of this final. I've seen him compete over the last month, and I really like his composure, mate. He's one of those guys that's just got an all-round package.
Yep.
You mightn't have heard much about him. I don't care. When you see people that are on, when he's on, and he's really good. Makes smart decisions. So Mark John Tokong is now going to have to step up and win this thing, because Skip won't make errors from here. Skip will sort of keep it honest and push John Mark Tokong to dig deep into his bag of tricks. And the local now is really going to have to come from a spot we haven't seen him behind in a heat.
No.
Not this far behind. He hasn't been comboed all event. He's going to have to do something we haven't seen this week.
Well, he seems to have the good waves on speed dial, so we'll wait and see what he can conjure up in the next 19 minutes. We're here for the men's final at Cloud 9, and this WSL QS 3000 event is really exciting to see, and with everyone here checking it out.
All right, well, we've got a couple of John Mark Tokong's fan club in here. The girls are trying to keep out of the rain. We might bring them in and just have a quick look. Look at that girl. Woo. Oh,
they're shy.
Don't freak out, girls. There you go. That's part of the cheer squad. They're just hiding from the rain, and we thought we'd just get their mugs on the television. And there you go, girls. Thanks for that. That was pretty cool. They're everywhere. His fans are everywhere. Can he still win, girls? Thumbs up. Double thumbs up. They're both giving me double thumbs up. They're
guaranteed.
in them. We're not even at the halfway mark of this final. The girls are giving a double thumbs up. It's time for John to answer back. Maramar.
Well,
The local rock star we've been calling him the whole time. He's going to have to now produce a rock star performance to track down Skip McCulloch and stamp his name to grab the big trophy. Tomorrow night's presentation to bank 12,000 US bucks, and more importantly probably for him, who's an emerging young surfer, 3,000 qualifying points today is a really big deal. These next half of this final is a big, big deal.
Mark, do you know where Skip's from? What part of the States?
You asked me before and I said no,
Oh,
so I'm
sorry.
still going to say no.
Okay, well...
Sorry, mate. Throw me under the bus.
That's
cool.
all right. It's
Look at the size of these things. Don't throw... I'd rather go under the bus than under that. Look at
Yeah.
that thing. That's churning hard out there now.
Oh,
Jerry
my
Deegan,
goodness.
our resident know-it-all on everything to do with Siargao, said this is absolute max size for this break.
Oh,
You can see why.
yep, it definitely is looking solid and very challenging. You can see some thick double-up lips just detonating on the reef. Well, I've just checked California times around about 9:40. So if he is a West Coaster from the United States, it's around about 9:40 at night. Certainly not too late. It's not the middle of the night, so I'm sure friends and family of Skip will be tuning in and hopefully sending some Captain Good vibes all the way from the United States here to Cloud 9. He's in a pretty commanding position at this stage, a 7.50 and a 4.67. And with priority in a combination position is John Mark Tokong, but I'm sure he won't be there for long.
Mate, when you just panned out the back and had a look at the ocean, there's some windy stuff going on out there as well. So not only have we just been hit with rain, it looks like there's some wind out there that's starting to pick up as well. And Jerry Deegan, once again, the know-it-all. Look at the ocean.
Wow.
Right, it's a pretty dusty scene out there. And
Not what you come to the Philippines for. We've had nothing but sort of sunshine, no wind and beautiful waves.
This is just going to test these guys to see who can do a bit of everything.
Yep.
We've had everything this week. We've now got some big bossy surf, some changing conditions. The boys are going to have to adjust pretty quick. And so far, Skip McCulloch is the surfer that's adjusted on his backup board, I might say, which he probably hasn't surfed this week. He broke his favourite sled on the last wave of his semi-final.
Seems to be going all right for him. The backup board's looking pretty good.
Here he goes again, everybody. Look at the size of this thing, Skip. Don't break your backup board.
Well, doesn't like what he sees on the inside, so he pulls the eject cord and kicks out of that one.
And what I like about that, mate, he's not sitting there waiting for Marimar to answer back. He's just surfing his own final, and he's trying to put even more scoreboard pressure onto Marimar, because he could sit there and go, okay, well, you got priority, your turn.
Yep.
It's not indeed. There's a whole lot up for grabs here, and I don't think Skip's ever won an event of this stature.
No.
And, you know, to walk away with the big bucks, he's had a hell of a campaign, him and his old man. Here goes the local hero now. The girls are frothing out next to us. The youngsters here looking at another youngster. His 5'1" board. He's got big hair. He just about got it trimmed up right then. And the girls are freaking out. The crowd up here next to us, all the locals are just going, we rarely ever see him fall off. Well, another 1-something score there for Marimar. You can see now he's just getting dusted. He has to bail out. Watch this again. Let's see what went wrong, Juddo. So he grabbed the wave face. He tried to hang in there. It just gave him a good old shoulder massage, that lip.
Yep.
And it was too much for the little fella to bear. But that wave did stay open. Had he been able to deal with that little bit of fluff on the shoulders, there was an exit.
Well, unfortunate. He will, well, looks like neither guy's got priority right now, so neither surfer deemed to be right on the takeoff area from our priority judge. We've gone just past the 15-minute mark, so 20 minutes done, 15 minutes to go.
Skip must have got cleaned up too.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just trying to find out where Skip is actually from, so let's see if we can pull him up here. No, it doesn't tell me. So right now, I can tell you that he's in the lead. 14 minutes 20 on the clock. Just a 1.17 for the last of Reds.
Still needs a 12.17 two-wave total. So he's got to immediately think about getting out of that position. So like we said earlier, his situation is still not blown out. A couple of sixes, a 6 and a 6 and a bit, and he's well and truly back in the hunt. It's dead set been throwing 9s and 8s all over the place. He was dropping an 8.1 out of his scoreline the first surf we saw him have the other day, which was probably Monday.
Yep.
Might have been late on Sunday, but it was maybe Monday. And a 9.77, an 8.83, I think. He was throwing away an 8.1. We're talking about JMT, John Mark Tokong. So he can do it, but time is starting to feature quite heavily in his psyche. He's going to have to just deal with this and dig deep. Haven't seen him comboed all week. He's the one been doing the comboing. So here is Skip, staying busy, trying to get rid of a 4.67. Needs to get tubed at some point. It's not going to happen on that wave. So wisely kicking out. John Mark Tokong is still nowhere to be sighted, so he might even get out there and regain all-important priority.
At the 13-minute mark, so this is the men's final. It is, well, it's probably the most challenging of conditions we've seen for the entire event so far. So just when these boys thought, oh, we've made the final, the conditions, and Mother Nature throws them another challenge with some heavy rain, some cross-shore winds making the going a little bit tough. The clean tubing waves that we've seen all morning long aren't quite there at the moment, Mark. So
no, this is a little bit more, victory at sea sort of stuff. It's now got to get a whole different read on this lineup. It's still heavy. It still goes top to bottom. You've now got a bit of sidewash. You've got a bit of wind in the face on the takeoffs. And you can see there's tubes still spitting. We just saw one off screen just going crazy. So, JMT, Marimar, has got to find something pretty soon.
Yep, we're getting down to the 12-minute mark. So he just has to hit the reset button in his mind. He needs to find 2 waves totaling...
That's where I don't want to be.
No,
I don't want to be one of those guys.
That would be the hardest job on the beach right now by far. I think that's why they send them all out.
So they could rescue each other.
You're right.
It's getting pretty high out there. There's a lot of water that pushes in. The tide's still pretty high. You can see them just jumping around like corks. They've got their orange caps on. They're lucky they've got a floaty tube each to hang on to, mate, because they might need that.
This guy's got a life jacket on. I reckon they'd have booties on because...
Have we got caddies for the water patrol? Is that one?
Maybe they're caddying for each other. So 11 and a half minutes on the clock. United States surfer Skip McCulloch leads with a 7.5 and a 4.67. I'm sure with a little bit of downtime we might be able to look at a replay of the 7.5. It was well executed. And it was...
There's our caddies. We've got 2 caddies out there. Then the water patrol. So at least the size of these waves look like it's settled just a little. Maybe the rain just trimmed it up a bit and sort of, there was some probably bigger than 8-foot waves that were rolling through in some of those semis. So I think it's just backed off. I think it's really time for, Marimar to capitalise here. He's got priority. He's just got to get something. It's got to happen pretty quick, smart. But this is a bit of a recap of some of the waves that have gone down in this final. This was the really good one for Skip, a 7.5. He hops up onto the lip. Watch this. And gets a really tidy hit here just to sign off. So you could see how much he was loving it. He was feeling it. A 7.50 at this stage puts one hand on the cup, the Siargao International Surfing Cup. And can Marimar steal it off him?
Well, here he goes again. Underneath priority. He's keeping busy, which I love to see. Drives around that first section. He's stalling. He's hunting the tube. Lines up the inside section but doesn't quite find it. So I like that he's keeping busy.
I totally do, mate, because you can't sit there and just, wait for Marimar to answer back, because sooner or later he's gonna.
Yeah.
So Skip, he still needs to only improve on a 4.67. So I'm liking his theory. Sooner or later that's going to pay off. I still reckon Skip's going to improve on that 4.67. So Marimar, he's out the back. He's hedging all his current... tactics on sets. Does he need to change out of that mindset and come in a little and hunt something a little smaller?
Yeah, quite possibly. He hasn't been in this position all event long. He won the Philippines national title last Thursday, and he has not put a foot wrong all event. And Jerry Deegan said, the trickier the waves get, maybe the more it puts the advantage into Marimar's court. But right now, Skip McCulloch's done a great job, and he has applied pressure to the local superstar, who doesn't look like himself right now.
No, and the rain's come back again. The wind is even the odd white cap I just saw right out the back. So again, with the windy stuff, we've had nothing more than about 3 knots as our strongest wind the whole 6 days. So the most challenging conditions right now, coming from unfamiliar territory. Marimar hasn't been comboed at all in this whole event. Last Thursday we rocked up, watched the finals of that national championship. He had a 9.8 and a 9.5. All event he's been throwing 9s, 8s. Wow, what a time to have at this stage, your least good performance. It could turn around. It can turn around pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to pull the trigger soon and come on in and look at some of these waves that where Skip's got his scores. They weren't sets. They were clean half-size waves. And the judges are still prepared to throw a 7.5 at a clean half-size wave if you smash it. So I think Marimar, it's his final to surf. Does Skip still stick with his theory, or does he go out and try and push Maramar a little further out?
Well, let's see what can go on. We're sub 8 minutes now in the final here at Cloud 9, and alongside me is my good mate Mark Clift, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be here. We've seen some absolutely barnstorming performances over the last 6 days, and right as the final paddled out, the heavens opened up. There's been some strong winds sort of start to ruffle the face of the waves here at Cloud 9, and some heavy showers have sent people running in all sorts of direction. We're in a pretty cosy little spot here. A few locals have piled in because we've got a nice big screen in front of us, and everyone wants to know what's going on. I think real estate out on the tower is at a premium right now, so
Yep. Somewhere dry's at a premium as well, so yep, there's a few crew that have jumped on our veranda, which is normally quite a lonely place, but here they are. They're all staring at the screen. They're hoping for the replays. We can see the crowd on the inside trying to keep, well, the Water Patrol, check them out. They're out there fully clothed. They've got their tube each in their hand in case something goes wrong. They've been doing that all week. It's not a very enviable job, but to their credit, that is the fire department. Is that right, Juddo?
Yep, the Department of Fire and Rescue. They've been here, by far the best dressed officials on the beach. Love their orange camo get up. But what I also love is the performance by the American out there in the blue. He's posted a 7.50 and a 4.67 to have John Mark Tokong on the ropes at this stage. And I think Maramar's got to get busy. I think he's got to just...
We've been saying that for a while now, and
Yeah.
I think sooner or later he's got to realise that you can't just sit there and let the clock wind down. You've got to do something proactive. Sitting out the back has not worked. Change your mindset, Maramar. Come on in. I'm sure all the people out there on the tower are thinking, just get out of this combo situation first, to give yourself a chance of these last 5 and a bit minutes to really answer back and to make a big statement and win this thing. Where is he?
Well, he's still hunting the peak, which is probably all he knows. But right now,
normally he's the one in there getting busy.
Yeah.
He's the one with 4 or 5 waves already. You know, he's the one that isn't going to sit out there and just let time tick away. He's normally doing a Skip McCulloch to everyone else.
Yep.
And this time, Skip's totally turned it around on him. And Skip doesn't have to do much more at this stage. He's got 5 minutes to hang in there. The longer this clock goes on and the more he can keep Mark out there without waves, the higher his chances go of walking away as our champion. At this stage, the chances are looking pretty good, I must say.
Here we go. So
Maramar's looking around non-stop, all right? So he's now lost his focus on what's going on out the back. He's probably got mates that are whistling and carrying on and trying to get his attention to come on in and try something different.
yeah.
It's not working.
Well,
Change it.
We are now sub 5 minutes, so the yellow disc would have been swung around over on the tower. And with priority, I think it is well and truly time to get busy for the Philippines national champion. He is...
Here's the recap. Check this out. So I think this is the 7.5 again, and I really liked it. That was a bossy tube in these testing conditions. I like the way he hopped up onto the lip here, and he just drove straight off it into this. So really good flow, had good variety. Skip McCulloch was feeling it. He'll know that was the wave he'd been looking for quite a while, to just totally bank one score. He'd already had a 3-something and a 4-something, and then he got a 7-something. So he's improved pretty much with every wave. So to that point, a really smart final. Everyone's screaming. I can hear the noise. 4 minutes. Are they screaming because they're losing their minds out there, mate, or are they trying to give him some input?
Well, I think maybe a little bit of both.
Here he goes. He's got priority. Can he get back into the mix? The girls behind us are yelling and screaming. The crowd on the balcony here are just losing it. Maramar needs to get out of priority. Ducks his head. Oh, the crowd behind us. I think we're going to need some tissues. There's some tears. There's some tears coming out of Skip. Locks into a tube himself. Oh, it's all going on. There's a bit of craziness here at Kisa. We're located about 200 metres away from the live action. Check this out now. Skip flicks out in front of him. Maramar is not going to get a big number out of that. He's going to, in fact, well, he's not going to fall further behind. He's still going to stay behind. So Skip, a job well done. He's going to get back out there. 3 minutes to go. It's starting to look like John Mark Tokol Maramar needs an absolute miracle to happen now.
Yep, well and truly. So you can
Look
see
at Skip. How was that bottom turn?
he's feeling really into it. He knows that.
He had a look where Red was and went, I'm kicking out.
Yep.
That was so cool. I love that stand tall bottom turn. It's a flashback to the 70s or something.
Yeah, nice little soul arch bottom turn straight into the pit. And, yep, I'm sure that he is channeling some Captain Good vibes out there, but he needs to contain it for the next 2.5 minutes because we've seen heats change in 90 seconds out here. But
I don't think I've seen a combo situation change in that amount of time out here, though. So
you're right.
It's now looking less and less likely for the Filipinos and more likely for Skip. So look at the little fella here. He's trying hard and he's thinking, what is this section going to do? He ducks his head. Just got swiped. Once again, that we've been saying it all week. The way this wave twirls, the foam ball is really hard. Sometimes it just gives you one little tickle up and you're gonski. It is a seriously strong wave.
2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining. Priority is with blue. Skip McCulloch from the United States of America. He has the Philippines national champion on the ropes, John Mark Tokong. Marimar needs to pull a rabbit out of the hat right now if he is going to be the Cloud9 champion. You can see the two boys shoulder to shoulder out the back, and with close to 90 seconds remaining, it's been a super exciting event. These QS 3000 events, super relevant at the back end of the year. I'm sure that Skip will maybe be hoping to make a trip across to Hawaii on the strength of these results and
keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, he has been dead set on a roll here. He's taken down some big names and
wow, this is a big day for Skip McCulloch and his old man Monty. Travelling together, surfing out here a number of times every day. He's just got himself into form via the 3-event series in Indonesia. Skip McCulloch, he's a really cool guy. I hope we get to interview him. Do you know what the input is? What did they just say? Are we getting him up here for an interview?
Yep, that's going to be the plan. So we're probably going to have a little bit of downtime, but our plan is to most definitely get Skip up here. And
unreal. Can't wait to have a chat with Skip. So for the people on the webcast, 35 seconds to go. It's all academic right now. Skip McCulloch is going to be your champion. Look at these sets unloading out the back. It's still unruly. It's still a massive ocean. And somebody get the fireys out of there before they drown.
Someone's going to have to rescue our rescue staff.
I've lost our clock. I can't see. But either way, Skip McCulloch, what a mass result for Skip. An upset for the locals. He's comboed Marimar in a big final here, Juddo. I didn't see that coming.
No.
But Skip McCulloch can hold his head high right from the word go. He went out there and started catching waves on his backup board. He has not been behind in this final. I can't even hear the siren. I don't have a clock. I imagine that's it.
Yep.
So, Justin Majex, it's been insane, mate. I've had so much fun here having chats with you.
I love it. I love it.
Our work days have been really super cool. I think the only thing we have to do now is to throw to some advertisements. We'll get Skip McCulloch up here as soon as we can. Everybody on the webcast, stick around, and we're going to ask Skip a whole bunch of groovy questions. See you soon.
Yep.
We are inspired by the sea. Our minds dive into the depths of its blue. Our bodies dance with its waves. The sea gives and gives, but the sea can also take away. Without our ocean, who are we? If we don't protect the ocean, we will be nobody. Come brother, come sister. We are called to share our love for the sea, for everything it gives, and we must make it known. We must show the world that we love our island home. Together, we are more than surfers. We are more than villagers and voyagers. We are more than islanders and escapists. We are one family, protecting our one and only future. Kudo surf, living the dream. We are inspired by the sea. Our minds dive into the depths of its blue. Our bodies dance with its waves. The sea gives and gives, but the sea can also take away. Without our ocean, who are we? If we don't protect the ocean, we will be nobody. Come brother, come sister. We are called to share our love for the sea, for everything it gives, and we must make it known. We must show the world that we love our island home. Together, we are more than surfers. We are more than villagers and voyagers. We are more than islanders and escapists. We are one family, protecting our one and only future. Kudo surf, living the dream.
Well, there it is. You can see him getting chaired up. Looks like he's broken a board again.
Has
So
he broken another board? Stop it. What scenes? There's Carlos Goncalves under his left leg. I'm not sure who's the other side. Marimar gives him a big hug. He's got a broken board. I don't know whether that just happened. Maybe it did. Maybe he's just broken 2 boards today.
look at the grommets trying to grab it.
Who else is that with him?
That's
who did we
Leonardo
speak with?
Yasuna.
Yep, all right. He got knocked out of the first quarterfinal. He's the fellow under the left leg of
Skip.
Look at Skippy just soaking it up. It
Oh,
might take
that's
us a
cool.
while to get him here.
I reckon
But
it will.
The insane scenes. I want to get his old man here as well. Skip McCulloch, it is your day, champion. And when you do the hard yards and you're journeyman around these events, you lose a lot of times. He's
Wow.
1-1. Look at the tower. Look at these scenes here at Cloud 9, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of rock stars, I think Skip McCulloch, he's soaking it up.
Ah, that is so cool. The boys are looking pumped.
Look
And
at Skip.
a massive win, a WSL QS 3000 win. It is nothing to sneeze about, and he is going to fill the kitty
12 grand.
$12,000. So
For someone like him too, you can see he's got some sponsors. I don't know how much they help to finance his travels, but $12,000 for someone like Skip McCulloch will get him to a lot of events, whether they be his Hawaiian campaign, or whether they help for next year as well. But check him out. He is just living the dream right now, folks. I wish I could bottle some of that feeling and just hang on to that for when I'm feeling down, because that's pretty cool.
crack a can of that would also be pretty pleasant. But Skip McCulloch, good on him. He's had a really good attitude throughout this entire event. As you said, you've spent a bit of time in Indonesia with him, but he is getting the royal treatment, getting walked all the way down the boardwalk. And
the best thing about this, he's heading our way.
Yes.
So for all the crew on the webcast, look, you can see how pumped it is, what it means to Skip.
Do you reckon they'll walk him all the way here?
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. Why not? This is really all-time stuff. What a way to finish an event. You can see it probably, I don't know whether he's ever won an event like this. I'm definitely going to ask him. Look at Waynesy even jogging along the boardwalk. That's the first as well. You never see Waynesy jog anywhere.
Only the buffet breakfast.
Yep, that's it.
But he is pumped. He is super, super stoked, and great camera work here as well from the WSL broadcast team to be tracking along, and he is on the top of the world. Where's his dad? I want to see his dad, Monty.
Yeah, well, we've got a spare chair here for his dad.
Yeah.
If you can hear us, Monty, and if anybody out there, probably can't hear anything out on boardwalk right now, but we've got 3 chairs set up. So I'd love for his old boy to sit down here with us. G'day, everybody. I'm Mark Clift.
I'm Justin Majax, and it has been a real pleasure to call through a career-changing win for Skip McCulloch. The American from San Diego has, he has stole the hearts of the Filipino crowd a little bit, but he
So
must
what?
be...
It's all about him right now, folks.
Yep.
Marimar gets, he's had a lot of attention. Skip's semi-flown under the radar just a little.
Yep.
He's here. The whole crowd is just rocking the boardwalk with him. There's a mass amount of people heading this way. Look at the exodus off the tower.
Wow.
It's going to take some time to clear that. And the old mate's just about to head here, folks. I'm just so pumped on what just happened.
Wow, the boys have done a great effort. They have chaired him all the way.
Could be the longest chairing of all time.
Wow.
They're heading our way right now.
Here they come.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah.
We might even get some expletives coming out.
All right.
So,
Wow, all the way here. Yeah, brother. Oh, goodness.
yeah.
All the way in. Well done. I'm
Well, scenes have gone absolutely wild right here. We're going to cut into this area. We just need some things. Look at this raw emotion going on here. It is so insane.
I'm going to take the headset off and put it on Skip very, very soon.
Skip, come here, my man. Let's get the headsets on. Let's keep it real. Let's have a chat. Okay, what about this?
Oh my God, bro. I can't fucking believe it.
Come here, brother.
Man.
Come here, brother.
I can't fucking believe it.
Ladies and
I can't fucking
gentlemen,
believe it, man.
Skip McCulloch, is this the best day of your life right now?
This is the best day of my life, dude.
You and your old man have been doing the rounds. Where's your pops? I'd love to get him up.
Dude, I wanna
We've
see
got a
this
spare
guy.
seat here for him because I'd love to see him sit down and share
you.
this moment with yourself.
Thank you. I'm
Wow.
just so stoked, man. It's like, I can't fucking believe it. I don't think it could be done, bro.
It can be done. You've been doing the rounds with us for the last month, brother.
Yeah,
Obviously, this is massive. $12,000, 3,000 WQS points. What's been your previous best result before this, buddy?
Oh, I've gotten 3/3 in my life.
3/3 in your life. One was at
Semifinal.
Nias. One was at Nias, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
dude, you were
All
there.
right. Yeah, I was there,
This guy
brother.
rips right here.
I didn't pay him to say that, but thank you.
My God.
Okay, this
sorry.
week, tell us how good has it been having your old man here with you? You've been a two-man
my
team.
God.
I heard he surfs more than you do.
He serves more than anybody. I thought I don't know.
Okay.
How many hours I just sit on the beach and wait for him to come in, and he just never comes in.
Where is he? Let's get him up here.
don't know.
Okay, so let's thank your sponsors. Look at this. Like, a lot of people have done a lot of
These
hard
guys.
yards with you, mate.
These guys I fucking love. Xanadu, Brixton, Crop Eyewear, Skull Candy, Matus, FCS. This guy's been with me from day one. These are all San Diego companies right here. And I just want to thank all of them for, I don't know.
What about this? What about your brothers online? You must have a whole lot of people
Oh
zooming
my
in right
God.
now. Say something down the lens. Come on.
Oh, my whole
Live the
family's
moment.
watching right now back home in San Diego, LA. My mom, my beautiful sister. I don't know, it's been a long, I don't know, I just surfed every day of my life for this moment. And I don't know, dreams come true, dude.
Man, they come
I'm
true.
sorry,
They've come
dreams
true
come
for you
true.
today, mate. Even on your backup board. Did you just break your backup board on the way in? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I fucking, like the biggest set, I almost got a two-wave hold down, I almost drowned after the heat.
Oh, my God.
But
I think
I don't know, like
I think we're going to have to get some coconuts or a beer up here in a moment. But how about everyone on the porch right now? Mass out to give this boy here a big rev up because he is our champion. 3,000 points, 12,000 US dollars. Skip McCulloch. I think we're going to have to go and have some more celebrating, my man. But
yeah, thank you to all
what
the
a
people
day.
from the Philippines. Are so welcoming and so nice. It's such a beautiful country, such a beautiful island. It's my 4th year coming here, and I can't wait to come back. And just thank you, salamat, to all the Filipino locals. Everybody at Ocean 101, they're so fucking hospitable. I'm sorry, find me. I don't care. It's not about the money. Good barrels, good waves, good friends.
All right, man.
I'm
Well,
sorry. Thank you. I love everybody. Thank you.
we need to go and find your old man right now. We need to go and have a beer. I saw Carlos. I've got a question from Johnny Uluwatu, who sent me a question online right now. He said, will you be jamming with Carlos tonight? That was Johnny's
man.
question.
Somebody get Carlos a drum kit. Someone will play guitar. I'll sing. We're jamming.
And we're jamming all
till the sun
night.
comes up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Skip McCulloch Day here in the Philippines, everybody. This is the best finish to a contest I think I've ever seen. He is the man at the
Thank you,
moment,
bro.
everybody. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
watching here at the Philippines at WSL 3000. We'll be
my
back next
God.
year. I don't know whether we could go bigger or better than that, but we'll try.
Can't wait.
Thanks,
God bless
everybody.
the Philippines. God bless the Philippines.
God bless
Thank
the
you.
Philippines. That's
Thank
it.
We are inspired by the sea. Our minds dive into the depths of its blue. Our bodies dance with its waves. The sea gives and gives, but the sea can also take away. Without our ocean, who are we? If we don't protect the ocean, we will be nobody. Come, brother, come, sister. We are called to share a love for the sea, for everything it gives, and we must make it known. We must show the world that we love our island home. Together, we are more than surfers. We are more than villagers and voyagers. We are more than islanders and escapists. We are one family, protecting our one and only future. Kudo surf, living the dream.